redwood forest.
I don't think I have one like that. I might have one that smells like rain, and that might be the closest I'm gonna get. You know, where it's like dusty rain.
Mm-hmm.
That is like the closest you're gonna get. Yeah.
A musty rain.
Yeah.
Because you remember the smell.
Oh, I immediately could smell it while they were going through that ship.
You could smell it when you saw the...
You saw the ship and all the
mist
going through it, because it was like, we have to keep this hydrated, and you're just like, I can smell it.
There is nothing but mist in this movie.
It's true.
This movie is 44% mist.
It's true.
I think a lot of the budget was just on mist and fog machines.
The fog machines. Bring in the fog machines.
All right, we're going to need a little more we need some more fog over here. Steven said we need more fog. I watched okay, I guess we can't get into too much of the ride, because I was about to say I watched a walkthrough of the ride. It's such a old ride. And you're like watching this walkthrough and like none of it works, and you're like, can they please update it a little bit?
You'd think they would try to make it, continue. If you're gonna get rid of Jaws, you have to fix E.T.
They're waiting for Steven Spielberg to die so that they can get rid of E.T.
Yeah, they just want to get rid of it.
It's the only thing that they're waiting for.
They just have to keep the smell. Whatever they put in that building, it has to keep the smell.
Okay, so here's the thing. I remember I can vividly smell it. I could smell it the second that the movie started.
Yes.
And then the score kicked in, and I was like, okay, all I can think of is Universal Studios. But I don't know if it's a good smell.
No.
I don't really want to smell that.
It's not like... I don't know if it's like a smell you want to smell, but it is one of those, like... It's one of those memory smells, I think, is how I would describe it.
Yes.
It's not one that I want to smell all the time.
Memory.
If you smell that in your house, you got to do something. You're getting
wrong.
water.
Yes.
You don't want that.
Right. I was thinking... I guess we have to actually talk about the movie and not the ride, because we're going to go on a tangent about the ride for 2 hours if we're not careful. But the smell, top notch. Top notch smell.
Top notch.
And, Rachel, Munch Madness being candy, I don't know where Reese's Pieces will fall. But it's also there.
I always thought it was Skittles.
Did you really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if I thought it was. I cannot remember.
Like, I really always thought it was Skittles.
Is it because at the end of the
because of the
movie
rainbow.
there's a rainbow?
Honestly, it's probably because of the damn rainbow. E.T. tastes the rainbow. But I have this, like, vivid...
Taste the rainbow.
I have this, like, vivid memory of him picking up the pieces, and they're Skittles. I don't know why. Maybe, did he do a commercial for, like...
No, he did commercials for
Reese's. It had to be. I don't know.
Oh, I had those moments watching this, too, because I haven't seen it in probably 25 to 30 years, too, of being like, oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yep, I remember that. Like the noise that he makes while running through the forest.
His discoloration. Yeah.
Well, of course. Okay, let's get started here. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is Shelf Life, a podcast where a brother and sister team always choose Coors and Skittles. Damn it, now you got me saying Skittles. Always choose Coors and Reese's Pieces for dinner, but also go through pop culture one at a time in all different types of genres, in all different types of medias, to determine whether or not the subject at hand belongs on your shelf. And today, Rachel, believe it or not, I was looking forward to this one. Like, we have our list, right? We've got our list. We have our list with the thousands of things that we have to do throughout our lifetime. We've covered some of those, like, big ticket items, or we're getting to those big ticket items. For me, this was one where it was like, this is going to be interesting. This feels big.
It does feel big. It does. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, it should. It is... Adjusted for inflation, it's the fourth highest grossing movie of all time.
Wow.
Yes.
That's big. All right,
it's big. This is big, people. People! This is big. Rachel, what is up for contention to the shelf today?
Your favorite little alien friend, E.T., the Extra-Terrestrial. Do you like how I said that?
Yes. Yes. Steven Spielberg's 1982 movie, E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. It is, of course, as I had previously just said, one of the highest grossing movies of all time. An all-timer in contention today. But I do feel like that E.T., because it never had a sequel, it hasn't had to have a reboot or anything like that, that it has fallen out of the consciousness, perhaps?
Oh, probably.
Of pop culture?
I would kind of say yes.
Well, the ride. The ride keeps it alive.
Keeps it, and I think just E.T. himself keeps it. Because, like, you see as, like, if you showed somebody E.T., I think they would know who E.T. is.
Okay. So you're saying, in other words, if E.T. knocks on your door, you're putting him at the table?
I mean, E.T., he'd probably be really simple to...
Hey, honey! There's a little freaky alien over here! What?
He just wandered in.
I'm sorry, hold on one second. His name is what? E.T. Okay, alright. She says you can come in.
He could sit at the table.
No, I think
I don't think he'd complain.
agree with
he
you.
doesn't seem to not like food.
No, he's a pig, according to Drew Barrymore.
That's right.
No, I agree with you. I think if you showed someone a picture of E.T. the Extraterrestrial, they would know what that is and what that's from.
I feel like they would.
But I do kind of wonder how many of the listeners have watched
actually
E.T.
watched
because of the
it?
fact that that it is so old at this point anyway. Rachel, what is E.T. about, and what's your history with E.T.?
Okay. Well, I was almost named Elliott, so that's one story.
You were not almost named Elliott. You were not. We'll get into that when I get to me, but go ahead. Oh, that popped Rachel. That popped her big time.
I knew I was gonna do that to myself just because I thought it was. I think it's like so dumb. Anyway,
it's the stupidest thing that 3-year-old Kevin ever attempted.
Right.
Go ahead.
Anyway, E.T. the Extraterrestrial is about a little alien getting left behind by his family on Earth.
I think it was a field trip.
You think it was a field trip? I don't know. Well, it could be, because I think they're all scientists. But anyways.
Yeah. E.T.'s a scientist.
E.T.'s
I want a t-shirt that says E.T. is a scientist.
E.T.'s the child of a scientist.
I think that's more accurate.
Yeah.
Yes.
So E.T. gets left behind by his family on Earth and is probably scared and lonely. Finds a family, and he hides in their shed. I guess I'm giving too much. This is too much. Hold on. It's too much.
Spoiler alert.
I'm just like giving the whole synopsis. E.T. is an alien that gets left behind by his family, is found by a little boy who befriends him, and kind of learn from each other.
It's a boy and his dog story.
It is.
But with an alien.
And the dog does not like the alien.
The dog? No, the dog.
It's a little skeptical. All right.
He's skeptical.
Yeah, but he does like him.
He is skeptical. Right. But at the end, he likes him.
Yeah, I think. Or he's just still like, you're still weird, kid. You're still weird.
What's your history with the movie?
Oh, so my history with the movie, I remember watching this as a kid, as like a child. Probably a small child, I'm thinking, because it used to scare me. Like, I remember it scaring me at parts.
This movie has to be scary for a kid. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way that it is.
But I remember it scaring me, and otherwise I don't really remember much. Like, I remember him being kind of cute and it being scary, and I mostly remember the ride because I've ridden that as an adult. So
You've ridden the ride now more than you've
watched the movie.
the movie.
I think that's actually probably true, because I don't think this was a rewatch it over and over again as a kid. I may have seen it a few times as a kid.
It was for me.
I feel like it was at least a few times, especially because you're my brother and you probably made me watch it with you.
Probably. Although by that point I might have been too old. Like when you would have registered it.
It's hard to tell.
Because I don't remember when I stopped watching it. Like I said,
Sure.
I probably haven't seen it in 25 to 30 years. So I just don't know. Which is weird, because I own it on Blu-ray. Because I got it for like $5 or something at some point.
I remember E.T., I remember the sounds E.T. makes, and I remember being scared at points.
And your connection now is more the ride and the
Probably
music,
more so the
I would
ride.
guess.
Yeah, the music. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially the music.
So-
Remembering the music is hard not to.
I guess we have to explain why you said that you're almost named Elliott. So I will explain this.
I had to bring it up.
So, yeah.
It's been
of course
told to
you
me
did.
multiple times throughout my life.
So this is an interesting thing to me, because I do agree that this is a frightening movie for a little child, or it could be a frightening movie for a kid, because like there's parts of it that are almost horror movie adjacent,
Fingers come out by themselves and just like doing stuff.
and there's creepiness, and there's things in the shadows, and there's things in the bushes and stuff.
Death.
But I like the fact that in the 80s and 90s it was okay for little kids to watch it, because one, like, they're
Well,
they're
it's
gonna
got
learn.
little kids in it, you know.
Yeah, and it's
That's enough.
okay for a kid to feel scared, because they
Right.
get to learn, like, oh, it's a movie. And
Oh
it's
yeah,
like, yeah,
absolutely. I think that's true.
I feel like
anyways.
Well, I feel like today, like, a lot of parents are more they wouldn't
Kind of
oh,
shying
it's too
away,
scared.
hiding them a little bit,
Yeah.
waiting until they're older.
I think that they should be allowed to. I think that kids should get to feel that. Like, as an adult, the only movie that ever does that to me is Exorcist. As a kid, it was probably E.T. It allows you to have all these different emotions of this joy and fear
And wonder and interest.
loneliness and
Yeah,
sadness and
that
wonder.
too.
Yeah, and because it does that, I think that it is a very interesting movie for a kid to grow up with. So I don't know why. I don't know if mom's intention was for me to become obsessed with it, or if it's one of those things where it's like you give it to the little kid to, okay, you know how to run the VCR, like, go ahead and watch this tape or
Right.
whatever. I didn't ask mom. I guess I should have asked mom.
Text her right now.
Prior to being 4 years old, I watched this at some point and became obsessed with it and loved it. I don't know if it was one of those things where I watched over and over again, but we all know that I was obsessed with it because of mom's story, that when I found out that you were coming,
That's right.
that my suggestion was to name you Elliott after
was a
Elliott
boy.
from E.T. if you were a boy. Isn't it weird that I didn't say and Gertie if you were a girl?
Do you think it's weird? I don't think
Because
it's
I said
weird.
Elliott. Like, why?
Because
why
you
only
wanted
Elliott?
me to be a little brother.
I don't know.
You don't actually know?
I don't know.
You don't
I don't know
remember?
if that was my intention. Yeah, I can't say, because I mean,
Well,
I was
probably
only
because
3 or
you-
whatever.
He's the main character. And
Yeah.
you're probably more identifying with him because he's a boy and a male character and all
Yes.
that kind of stuff. So I
Yes.
think that might be why.
Yeah, thank God
You're a
that
child.
Rachel was born a girl. Now, mom never had any
No
intention
offense to
of
any
naming
Elliots
you
out
Elliott.
there.
Yeah,
but
no
I didn't wanna be
offense,
named
Elliots. No, nor would it have fit.
It
So,
just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
It just doesn't fit.
So thank God. But yeah, I would have thought, Rachel, this is probably 10 years ago now, but I remember that the two of us were like, we haven't watched in forever is Gremlins. And then we like went and got it.
Yeah.
And when we
Yes.
watched it, I think we both fell asleep during that viewing.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I think it was also probably like midnight when we were watching it, so probably.
I'm sure it was. It feels like this would have been another one of those movies where we were like, oh, we haven't watched this in decades.
Yeah.
Let's watch it. Now
Right.
that's clearly what we're doing here now that we have a platform to posterically go through all of these
Forces us to do
things.
this now.
Who I force you to do this?
The podcast itself just
the
forces
general,
us.
just
Yeah.
having it. But that's
Nobody
I think that's a
forces
good
us
thing.
to do
This is-
anything. We do whatever the hell we want.
No.
But
That's right. We are the only source of truth. And this is one of the reasons that we brought the podcast into our lives. It was to do this. Because
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know anybody that's talking about E.T. Like, we're talking about E.T., goddammit.
that's right.
So now we get to actually go through it. Now, like we said, we primarily will have to save it for after the credits to do the ride. I think we're going to have to. Because we have to talk about that ride.
I think we're gonna
We
have
just
to
have
talk
to.
about it. Yeah, you're right. But after credits
sequel.
might be the best spot because we're gonna go on for hours.
So Steven Spielberg, as we've said, is the director of the movie. It's our first Steven Spielberg project, Rachel.
No, that's crazy. That's weird.
Well, we've only done 29 subjects, so
Okay, you're
it's
right.
not like
Fine.
we've done a million of things, but
It
we're here with
feels
our
like
first
it.
Steven Spielberg movie. We have done some of the most, popular auteurs across, some of these movies that we've done, whether it's Joe Dante, Richard Donner, We've done John Carpenter. We've done Christopher Nolan. All of these popular auteurs. This is probably the most popular auteur of them all. A king of the blockbuster. George Lucas, Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Right. Yes, yes.
Steven Spielberg came up with this idea on Close Encounters. I watched all the behind-the-scenes documentary stuff. They have documentary footage from 1982, which was fascinating.
Oh, that's so fun.
And then they had him giving like a spiel for like the 20th or 40th anniversary or whatever it was. He wanted to know what would happen if the alien didn't, spoiler alert for Close Encounters, didn't get back on the ship, but he stayed as a foreign exchange student. So he had this idea of wanting to do that story. He also had this idea where he wanted to work on a story about preteens that were affected by divorce. Because pretty much every single thing that Steven Spielberg has ever done is predicated on divorce because he is obsessed with the fact that his parents divorced when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Everything has that hanging over it.
I wonder if that's
Besides,
just because
like,
he wanted to create content for people like him, and he didn't have anything like that when he was a kid. Because growing up,
no,
I would think when he was a kid, it would all be like that. This family, all the family, it has to be like that. Yeah. This like complete family, the nuclear family.
No, I don't disagree. I think that is part of it for sure. It's a theme that just runs through so many of his movies.
Sure.
So he had these two ideas. He wanted to do the alien story. He talked about it with somebody, Melissa Hutchinson, who is the screenwriter of this, on Raiders of the Lost Ark. She was dating or married to Harrison Ford, and he kind of like pitched this idea to her.
Okay.
They had gone out and they had gotten a script from another writer who turned it into them called Night Skies, and it was about like these mischievous aliens that terrorize like a family.
Yeah.
And Steven Spielberg thought it was too dark. He said it was like too violent for him or something like that.
It's almost Gremlins-esque.
It sounds Gremlins-esque.
Yeah,
like that's what it sounds like.
But they're aliens. We don't know. Gizmo could technically be an alien, but I digress.
We'll get there. It's on the list, and it's coming up at some point.
Potentially.
So Melissa Matheson was on set at Raiders because she, like I said, she was either dating or married to Harrison Ford at the time. So Spielberg, who was like, I had the idea to combine these two things in his head because he was like, it had been like 6 years where I was like combining this thing in my head. So he just kind of dictated the story to her, and she filled in the gaps and did what a writer is supposed to do and all that kind of thing, and then came up with a first draft kind of screenplay outline, and Spielberg was like, nope, this is exactly what I want it to be. So they had the script for it. Because, like, they would record it, like, he would record, like, with her going over what he wanted the story to be, and then she would, like, give inputs and stuff, and then she went out and wrote it. He wanted to at least expand on the script, but he never wanted to get away from the script, because he was like, he said he thought the script was so good, if he gets a good script, he's like, I don't want to mess it up. So one of the things that he said he did, in particular with working with these kids, is he wanted to find kids that would allow for spontaneity on the set. So he never wanted them to be like, you have to stick to the script. And there are some lines in this that are absolutely improvised. Penis breath. I don't like his feet.
You could tell.
A lot of that stuff is
You
improvised.
could tell.
Yeah.
When the actress just starts laughing. It's like...
Yeah, well, that's what I said. That was a genuine reaction from Dee Wallace, because she didn't know he was going to say that.
It was great.
Goes to Paramount, I think, to pitch the movie. They were debating on picking it up to make it into a movie, and they decided to go with John Carpenter's Starman instead. Okay. Which, add that to the list, Rachel. Okay. I have never seen Starman. They told him, look, they think it's a really good script, they think it's a really good idea, but they think Starman would be a better, whatever, investment, or they just wanted to get in the John Carpenter business or whatever. But they were like, we're going to let you have the script back because we think you should go make this somewhere. Right. He takes it to Universal.
I'm glad because that would have been kind of crappy of them to be like, well, we're going to keep this now. Like,
well, they could always like box it and be like, we'll do it later, or like something like that. But it's Spielberg, and at this point, he is at the apex of his Spielbergoness at this point. So he goes to Universal, friends with Universal, because Universal had Jaws. And, like, he works with Universal all the time. He still does. He's still a consultant on the fucking parks.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Like, that's his thing. They decide to make the movie. There is a video of Elliott, Henry Thomas, his casting video is online, if you go watch it, Rachel, it's all improvised. It has nothing to do with the script or anything. It was just he gives him a pitch of like, this man from the government is coming to take your friend away, and Henry Thomas plays this very well. And they get done with it, and Spielberg from off camera just goes, "Okay, kid, you got the job," and everyone starts laughing because he nailed it.
Yeah,
and Drew Barrymore gets signed on. Dee Wallace,
she's so tiny. She's so tiny in this.
Drew Barrymore steals this
multiple
fucking
times.
movie.
she
steals it. She got me at the end because her getting upset that E.T. was leaving was the saddest thing. It's weird because we'll get into it. As a kid, I identified with Elliott. As an adult, I identify with Mike.
Oh, sure, because he's
brother.
The older brother. Yeah. Absolutely.
And he like has
I felt
this
for the
very,
mom.
like,
I think she
world
just wanted to be
weirdness.
involved, and she was just pissed at them for not involving her. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah,
I feel
think that
for
she would have
her
helped
at this
them.
point.
Yeah.
She's like, all you gotta do is tell me. I would have been in on this. This is fine.
Yeah. Dee Wallace playing the mom. Everybody's mom. She is the 80s mom.
Oh, she's such a good mom. Like, she feels like a good
She's
mom.
a perfect mom. Yes. He decides to like watch the screener of the movie, and he's like, this is before like there was the stuff in it that had all of the score and the visual effects and stuff, but he's like, he loved it, and he goes, I'm not even supposed to love my own movie. And I was like, yeah, I can relate, Steve, because I'm like, am I allowed to like this episode of Shelf Life?
Yes. Yes, you are.
It's like, yeah, that's why you made it. He didn't think that he would ever make a better film than E.T.
Wow. This was his baby. This was this is it. He's just happy he made this. He could have cared less about anything else. I love that.
For him, it's like semi-autobiographical.
Maybe he actually had an alien friend as a child.
Do you think an alien actually stopped?
I
That
bet-
could
I
explain
bet-
a lot.
I bet, actually. I bet he has an
All
alien
these
friend.
ideas.
Maybe he still has them.
that
Maybe
he's
he's like
had.
Roger, and he's still sticking around.
Okay, I was gonna ask this when we get into the walkthrough, but Roger is definitely supposed
Based
to be
on
a parody
E.T..
on E.T., right?
He
Okay.
has to be. He's got to be like the same species or something. The same family.
Oh, it's
There's
that little
no way.
shrimp E.T.
His
Oh no,
little
do you want to know
nephew.
what E.T.'s real name is, Rachel? Zrek?
Zrek?
Is
Zrek.
E.T.'s
Like
real name.
Shrek?
Yeah, Zrek. Like Shrek. He looked like Shrek. He sounded like Shrek. Zrek. So he sees the screener. He cuts another 40 minutes off of it. He thought it wouldn't make a lot of money. He was like, we'll get our money back, but I don't know if we'll make a lot of money on this. He gave it to some execs who saw it on the first like screening that he did it in front of people. And the studio came out thinking it would be great, but it wouldn't make a ton of money. And they were like, well, let's take it to Cannes. Let's like take it to like a thing and like see.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So they took it there, and he said that he had never seen a reaction to a movie like that before, where
Wow.
people were crying and laughing and enjoying it. So it comes out, it makes $792 million. It makes almost $800 million. And like I said at the top, it is the fourth highest grossing movie of all time, adjusted for inflation. He was asked to screen it at the White House for Ronald Reagan.
Wow, okay.
He thought that Reagan enjoyed it, like he could see it as like he was enjoying it like a boy, and he actually really enjoyed that screening because he was viewing other people because he was like, I wanted to see other people watch it, and he got to see it instead of like as a director. He could distance himself from it and like actually just enjoy people enjoying it, which
kind
again,
of like be
it's
a
like
part
a
of the
podcaster
crowd.
trying to enjoy, like we almost have to distance, like we record these, and one of my goals for the folks at home is to have these for my own listening, but it's like I almost have to like wait forever to be able to enjoy it again because we put so much like work into it. So
right.
I get
it's
that.
It's true.
They wanted to have him make a sequel. So he thought, what would Elliott's life be like without E.T., and how could they come together? He could not figure out a good answer for that.
Mm-hmm.
And he went back to the execs, and he told them that, you know what, I think we made the perfect movie, and we shouldn't revisit it. And they agreed. And all I could think of is, what a time where they would actually agree with not making a sequel. That would never
Disney.
happen today.
Maybe you should learn from that.
Nope. you know what, Steven, we're gonna make this movie whether or not you're involved.
We're gonna make 5 more. We're gonna make it into books. We're gonna make it into a TV series.
We're gonna make a book out of it. We're gonna make a video game. We're making a TV show. I want a TV show just about Gertie going to preschool. It's gonna be a prequel. It's gonna be called Gertie. It's gonna be about her adventures.
It's the E.T. universe.
Michael goes to college, and then E.T. shows up.
E.T.'s big brother
How's that
shows
sound?
up. E.T.'s family comes to visit. Like, the entire family.
E.T. goes to Vegas. How about that? I could come up with a million different ideas, Steven. Where's your fucking ideas?
Elliott goes to space with E.T.
Well, I think that's the only way that they were going to be able to get
That's
that to work.
the
and I think
only
that's what
way.
the ride sort of is.
Sure.
Right? Like, you go to space. Like, that's
Yeah, you
all
go
it
to
could be,
E.T.'s planet, I think.
But thank God that they did not ask him to make a sequel.
I think it would have just been... It would have been bad.
It wouldn't have worked.
No.
They do show a lot of, like, these little things in the behind the scenes that I really liked. They recorded it all in order so that the kids could gain feelings for E.T. as the movie went on.
That's a really good idea,
never wanted,
especially for kids.
They never wanted... Yeah, especially. I mean, the kid... I saw some reviews... not reviews, but morons on the internet saying the kids' acting is bad. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking? You can say anything you want about this, but the kids' acting is very good.
Yeah. I actually disagree with that.
They were filming on Halloween, so Steven dressed up as a woman for the kids while he directed. And then they had, like, because they show all of this, like, behind the scenes footage of the kids, because they had to do school and stuff. They actually said it was really hard, because you'd go do your scenes, and then they'd be like, Steven would be like, okay, you can go back to school. And they'd be like, we went back to school for 20 minutes, and then they would be calling us back. So you could never get into a rhythm. But they showed they did, like, a little Halloween party for them.
That's so cute.
There's one thing where Steven's talking with the boys, the older boys, and Elliott about video games, which is interesting. It's like 1981. Steven's like, you know what I think they'll never top is asteroids. And they're like, oh yeah, asteroids.
God. That's so weird.
Drew,
I want to watch this documentary now. I feel like I have to.
It was actually interesting because it's all this old ass footage of them.
Right.
Drew thought, at least according to Dee Wallace and Steven, she denied it on her show when she had Dee Wallace on, but Dee Wallace was like, no, you thought he was real.
I could see her thinking it was like a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's an actor.
He was leaving her after all of that. But he's an actor. Yeah.
But he's an actor.
Yeah.
Drew thought it was real to the point that Steven had the puppeteers still move the head around if they saw Drew going up to him, because she would talk to him.
Oh my God, that's so cute though. I could see that. I could actually see that. She's probably not going to remember it that well, but I have a feeling she would do that.
Right.
I could 100% see that.
I watched this interview that Drew did with Dee Wallace on the show, and she goes like, I knew the score. I knew it was up. And Dee just goes, no.
No, you didn't.
Hold on. No, you didn't.
That's so cute. I'm sorry. Okay.
It becomes this huge success story. It was in theaters for over a year because that's how you could do things then. Like now you can't not take something to a streaming service after 2 months. He didn't ever want it to be on VHS because he thought that it should be special, so that they would just do re-releases so that people could go see it. And it became the most pirated movie of the 80s as a result.
Oh, I love that. That's so funny. And then they're like, we're going to release it on VHS.
Yeah, so he was like, okay, fine. So they released it in like 1988 or whatever. And then one of your podcast hosts was given a VHS copy by his mom. And here we are, 30-some years later. Rachel, anything else before we hit the break?
No. I don't think I have anything else on that one. I think I'm ready to just do the walkthrough. God. Elliott.
So when we come back after a break, a word from our fake sponsor, we will walk through E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial.
Breakfast, kids! Okay, Mom! Introducing new E.T. Children's Chewable Vitamins with 1/3 more of 8 essential vitamins and 30% less sugar than the leading children's vitamin.
Race you downstairs.
In 4 delicious fruity flavors with a lot less sugar. And there's an iron formula, too.
E.T.
New E.T. Vitamins from Squibb.
E.T., I love you.
E.T. is what a children's vitamin should be.
Hello? Somebody out there? E.T. Video game?
It's the video game that lets you pretend you're E.T., running away from secret agents, falling into danger, finding a phone to call home, and discovering the best thing on earth, a friend. E.T., only from Atari.
And we're back with... that didn't sound like E.T. at all, whatever. With...
like a little Martian thing or whatever, but Marvin the Martian.
Close enough.
No, because his is
Marvin the Martian talks like
yeah,
this.
that's true.
Yeah.
It sounded like something.
We're back. It sounded close enough.
We're back.
With the walkthrough for Steven Spielberg's 1982 movie E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial.
Yes.
This is going to be an exciting doodad show for everyone out there. Folks at home, we're going to try to do our best here to bring you into the world of E.T. That's Steven Spielberg. Rachel, are you eating Reese's Pieces right now?
I mean...
Or are those Skittles? No, those are Reese's Pieces.
No, I got the Reese's Pieces. Look.
Okay.
I feel like I had to,
You're trying to get in
considering
the
I had
spirit,
it wrong
yeah.
in my head, you know.
Yeah. I'm glad that you just have those just on hand.
Well...
I have a little media room, and I have those on hand too, but I didn't grab them.
No, they're just in your little cabinet of candies.
Yes.
They're on display.
Yes. That's right. If you come over to Kevin's house to watch a movie, you can go to the concession stand.
Literally. There's pop and candy and popcorn. It's great.
Yes. So anyway, let's get right into it. E.T., who also enjoys pop. He likes junk food, too. He mostly eats...
He was eating watermelon and
about
vegetables.
Yeah, he was eating a lot of vegetables and watermelon and stuff. Okay, so the movie begins. Very, very simple credits. Almost horror movie-like with these credits. They were.
No, you're not
because it's just
wrong.
the title, and then it's just the
black
names and stuff. And It's just black all around. It's like almost like a pinkish hue.
Sure.
To the words. And
I would
it's
say
just
purple.
this ominous... Okay, purple. Yeah, all right, fine, purple. I guess you're right. It looks a little more Donatello than anything, I would say. This ominous score as well. It's very unsettling.
It's very slow, and it draws in... Yeah. You're right. This is a horror movie. This is E.T. the Extraterrestrial, the horror movie.
For a little kid, it would be kind of a horror movie.
I guess if you wanted to introduce them
parts.
in, you could start this as like the horror movie.
It's a good way to get a kid to understand like the magic of the movies and how you can feel different things at different points during the movies.
Right.
So that goes on, and then the credits end. The first scene is the stars. So it like fades to black too, like a very old school movie type of thing there, with the fading to black after the credits to then open up the movie,
and then it fades.
But it's not the same.
What do you mean it's not the same? It is the same. It's just a black screen.
Because it's a black screen, but then the sky isn't completely black with stars. I'd say it's more like
but it doesn't fade
like
to
a dark
black.
blue.
It fades in to the sky.
Oh, does it fade?
It fades
into the
from
sky?
the black to the sky.
Oh, you're right.
What do you mean?
Folks at home, I apologize. It's the opposite. It's a fade out of black, not a fade into black. Yes, I think that's right. You get the hint of the theme of E.T. that it's there, and then it slowly pans down into I think a redwood forest, or at least
Definitely,
like a California forest.
It's like a redwood forest. Those trees are enormous.
Yeah. I don't know if it's exactly redwoods, but it's definitely like that pine, Lake Tahoe, Northeast California forest.
It's got to be northern.
Oh, it's definitely Northern California.
Right.
Like even when Elliott points out on the globe, he's like, "We're here."
Right.
It's Northeast California. And suddenly there's an alien spaceship there. Just this big
egg-shaped thing.
I called it a Christmas ornament. I thought it looked like a lot like a Christmas ornament.
Fair, because it's shiny. It's got like
the
little like
and stuff
the little
on
ridge around it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some decorations.
Very decorative, yes.
I think it looks like the Close Encounters spaceship. I think that's what he's going for.
Really?
Rachel, I don't know if you've ever seen
I
Close
have
Encounters.
not.
I've seen parts of it added to the list. A little bit.
Kind
it looks like
of.
a very like
This
kid
is
version
way
of it.
more like taller.
Mm-hmm.
This is more
Yeah, this one's a little more
dome-like.
round. Yeah.
And I think they did that on purpose.
To make it dome-like?
Yeah, because I think it's like a terrarium almost.
Oh, that's true. Because... So yeah, we can say this first and then kind of go into it.
Yeah.
It's during this scene, we go into the spaceship, and there's like a bunch of different plants. So I
Right.
think what we're supposed to derive is that E.T. and company, whether they be the family or his
Coworkers?
colleagues, because they're like scientists,
Yeah.
it's like a group of aliens that are going around collecting plants
Yes.
from around the galaxy.
I think so.
Because they're botanists.
I think
like
they're
clearly botanists.
Yes. I agree.
So they're stopping at Earth or like different parts around Earth maybe to just
Oh, yeah,
grab
potentially.
different plants. Spielberg said that he thinks of E.T. as a plant more than an animal. He's like more plant-based.
That's weird considering the food he was eating.
Well, plants gotta eat something.
They don't
right?
just
I
eat
suppose.
like
being. Yeah, you're right. I can't think of a
Is
plant
it-
that eats another plant.
I mean,
but
there's like the ones that eat flies and stuff, Venus flytraps and stuff.
yeah.
But it just seems odd. It seems like
Well,
he has some.
you know.
He's got a heart, some sort of like digestive system.
But it's supposed to look kind of plant-ish, or at least like that's the base. So like he evolved from plants.
Okay,
I think
fine.
is this species or something.
Interesting.
Like that.
He's
I don't know.
Okay. Mandrake, like a mandrake root, because it's got like
Yes.
that like face and stuff.
Yes, E.T. could be a descendant or a predecessor of the mandrake. Yeah.
Doesn't
Less annoying though.
yeah.
But yeah,
I
that
would think
mandrake
so.
had some stubby legs and shit,
Right.
so it's possible.
So it kind of could be mandrake-like. That's like the first, like what I was like. I guess he's like a root or like a potato.
You think E.T. is like a potato?
Yes, because
Yeah, I can
it's,
see
it's-
that.
it's
His
like
body
a
is very
root plant,
potato-like.
right? So it's like a
Yeah.
mandrake or like a potato.
Yeah. Yeah. E.T. is kind of a potato.
I think so.
We could probably put that on a t-shirt.
He's a couch
E.T. is a
potato.
potato. Well, we'll get to that scene. So we go into the trees and hear some rustling, and it's still very ominous. It's very spooky, the way
very
that the
dark.
camera is moving around. It's
dark
very dark. We
shadows.
can't see anything. Yeah, lots of shadows. We end up seeing them walking around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A handful of ETs. It's creepy.
It's kind of creepy.
You can't tell if you can trust them or what these things are. There's these beings walking around.
right.
I can remember as a kid having a lot of dreams where the ETs were not exactly friendly.
Sure.
And it's because you
Possible.
get these images like this. Oh, I'm sure that there's a jerk ET. There have to be.
Oh, there's jerks
There's jerk
everywhere.
humans. There's jerk elephants. There's
That's
got to
right.
be jerk ETs.
Oh, I bet. It almost sounded like you said jerky
Some-
teas, like like jerky.
I gotcha.
Potatoes, not jerky.
Oh, you could jerky these guys up. I mean, look at them. They are already wrinkly as shit.
I don't know, when he dries out, I don't think I'd eat him.
Rachel is on record of saying she's not sure if she would eat
No,
E.T.
cut it
the
out.
extraterrestrial.
Cut it out. It was a joke for
I'm
you.
not sure if I would eat them. Some are grabbing some twigs and stuff as they're walking around.
Then they
and
show
you
a
see
bunny. Get a little scared about the bunny. Like, are they gonna do something to the
I
bunny?
thought they were going to take the...
They
Oh,
could have
okay.
taken the
I didn't
bunny.
think that-
I don't know.
Yeah, they could have. I guess you could have if you
It was
didn't
just
know
here's a
what
bunny.
this
We
movie
didn't see
was.
anything else with the bunny.
Them
I
not
kind of
doing
would have
anything
loved to
the
see
bunny,
somebody
though?
pet the bunny.
Yes,
touch the bunny.
I thought that's what we were going to see. Is like the hand going toward it
Yes.
to make you think something bad's going to happen, and,
then
then
they
it
just
just kind
pet
of
it.
pets.
Yeah, and then they pick
Yeah.
up the plant instead and like walk away. Like
Yeah, that could have been nice. But I think we're supposed to not quite understand what they're doing yet. So then that would
Sure.
have probably given it away.
Well, I mean, the thing, though, is, I guess another part is the bunny's not, like, running away. Just kind of hanging out with them.
Yes, they're not afraid of them.
Yeah.
And bunnies are afraid of everything.
Yeah, that's true.
That's weird. We never get a clear shot of the ETs at this point either. You can see them in silhouette. They're, like, blacked out, but you can kind of see their shapes.
Super dark shadows. We're only going to see them from, like, the dark shadow side.
All of these puppets are out there, and then their hearts all light up, and they start to kind of...
Well, you forgot. You do get to see a shot where it's very far back.
Very far away.
Very far away, and you get to see more of, like, a lit-up E.T. And I think it is E.T.
Yeah, that is E.T. Because he's wandering away.
Redwoods.
He's like in awe of the forest, so he's like walking.
Which I would
he's
be
like
too.
Exploring.
Yeah.
Tries to uproot a sapling
Yes.
to take, because he's like, I'm taking one of these fucking trees. Like, we got to take one of these things.
Right.
You got to take one of these trees. In the meantime, the ones that are all closer to the ship, their hearts all light up, or their like insides light up. I think it's supposed to be a signal that they can tell the humans are coming and they got to get out of there.
It must
Like,
be.
I think that's what they're doing.
Right? Like a hive mind type of thing where it's like a message, like a hum almost. Like, oh, hey, you got to come back to the ship.
Meanwhile, E.T. goes into some brush, and he sees that there's, like, a city below, and he kind of oohs at it, because it's like, ooh, look at this thing. Like, it's, you know, completely different than maybe what he's used to.
Sure.
Because what we end up learning, if you ride the ride at Universal Studios, or there is a extended universe of E.T. the Extraterrestrial, and he lives on the green planet, which is stupid. It's stupid because they have this technology and it's supposed to be like they also live in a place that's like doesn't have cities. Like I don't quite understand. I guess maybe it's more like we go to all of these places and like look, there's like an more advanced civilization.
Well, maybe they're
here.
more adventurous than staying in one place. Maybe they're mobile. Maybe they don't like stay in one place very long.
They're nomadic.
Yeah,
that's possible.
So they're all on
And
their
if he
ships,
is
just all over the universe, and then they come back to the one
He's
planet.
an explorer and scientist,
Right.
so that's also possible there. Suddenly there's a truck.
Suddenly
and
there's a truck.
E.T. runs. Well, it is.
No,
there
it is. It's
suddenly a
true.
truck there. And then E.T. starts running, and we get a lens flare. Lots of lens flares in this.
Yes.
And the behind the scenes even showed Steven Spielberg showing them to move the flashlight slowly to get the lens flare.
Yeah.
Because if they did it too quickly, it would just be a dash.
Right.
And E.T. tries to hide in the brush.
Right.
One of the things that is interesting about the movie is because it is supposed to be a kid's movie and shot from almost like a kid's perspective, you never see any of the adults except for
No.
Dee Wallace above the hip.
Right.
It's all hip and below. So
For most
like
of the movie,
that,
it's
like,
crazy. It makes
Yeah.
it even creepier then, because then you don't know, like, are they there because of like bad reasons? Are they good people? Like,
Yeah, I
what
think
kind of
that's-
person is this that I'm looking at right
I
now?
think that's intentional. That's
Right.
very intentional. The head one has keys that jingle on his hip. In fact, the entire movie, he doesn't have a name. So he's just referred to as Keys
Really?
in the cast.
Oh, I never even realized that.
He's got those power keys. Was that an 80s thing
I
to
think
just
it
have all
was.
these keys?
Yeah, like attached
Like you're
to
a
your
fucking
hip.
dungeon master?
Yeah. I bet.
Also, keys. I'm not going to tell you how to do your job or anything, but if you're trying to sneak up on these aliens, maybe not having these jingling keys around would be a good idea.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, they did just kind of like drive rushedly into this area. Was it like they were watching a camera out in the woods? I don't even know. How did they realize that these aliens like landed here and they had to go check it out?
I think they've got some equipment to know when the
Okay.
aliens landed.
Fair.
I think that they're keeping track of the skies to know where and when the aliens have landed. This is obviously
that
not the
makes
first
sense.
time that ETs have come here. And like I said, I think
Right.
that they're going around the globe trying to grab some different stuff to include in the collection.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. We have a lot of different vegetation.
We don't know. I mean, to an ET, it could be like, their planet's got some stuff, but it's not that great.
Well,
it's really
sure.
great. Alpha Centauri.
Which might be
That
very
one's got a
true.
lot of good shit. E.T.'s professor or whatever tries to... it could be Botanicus for
It
all
could
we
be
know.
Botanicus.
There's this. So here's what I was trying to figure out, Rachel, because
Okay.
this ET in the spacecraft that calls to ET, he taps his chest, he calls his cell phone, and he's like, "Hey," or walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
And he's like, "ET, you need to come back to the ship. We're leaving in 2 minutes." And it lights up his chest, and because of that, they immediately move
Because it
their
goes,
flashlights over ET. Right. And ET goes, "Ah!" and runs like a velociraptor through these bushes.
Yes. Yes, he does.
The ET that is on the ship
Yeah.
is wearing like a robe. He's got like an outfit on.
No, he
I
doesn't.
think he does.
No,
Because his silhouette,
none of the ETs
his
wear
silhouette
clothes.
is not. But his silhouette isn't shaped exactly like ET. It looks like he's got like sleeves. See if you can see this, because I think he's got like an outfit on, which just signifies that he is in fact the Dumbledore of the ET world. They're like on this field trip to Earth.
He's not wearing anything. What do you mean?
All right, maybe I saw.
I
it
don't
wrong.
know. I don't, because I think I see what you're
Folks at home, let me
looking at.
know.
The arms are definitely not in something because they're so thin, right?
Okay.
But the bottom
Yeah.
has like this wide shape, but I think they're just
That's
bottom
not-
heavy.
Okay, so it's just because I'm seeing the bottom square like completely flat.
I think so. You're seeing it as like, oh, that must be like an open outfit, and there's got to be some legs there, but there's no legs.
Yeah, but he's just so square. Okay.
I think
Folks at
that's
home, let
what
me
it
know.
is.
I really would. I hope
I think
that I'm right, but I don't think I am.
See, in my head, so you're seeing this as E.T.'s a scientist and that's a colleague or a boss, and I'm seeing it as that's the mom or dad. They're the scientists.
But then why-
Hold on, he came with.
Okay.
He came with. He went out and explored. Why
no,
not?
but why did they leave him then?
I don't know because it made me mad.
Because they just leave him. Like you wouldn't
mad.
come back the next day.
But why would they leave him if it's a colleague too? They're just like, oh, well, we lost another one. Like, is that what they do all the time?
Oh, we lost another one. We need to get another ET. It sounds like Matthew Broderick. It's my Matthew Broderick.
It kind of
impression,
is.
my
It
ET
is. It
impression.
really is. But you're right. They didn't come back the next day, as far as we
No.
know. And it's like, why would you just leave him there?
I mean, unless you think that he for sure was caught by the government, and it's like we mourn ET, but like, why did they leave him?
They just left him. It's very upsetting.
Folks at home, you have to. Somebody has to know why did they leave ET.
Mr. Spielberg, I know you're listening. Can you write in for us, please? I need to know who is that waiting for ET that said close the doors, raise the ramp.
Yeah,
Like,
somebody
what is
was
this?
like, someone was like, we're raising the ramp. And
Yes.
there must have been a fight going on that ship of like,
They
no,
had
we
to have
need to
been.
get Zrek needs to get back here.
Right.
And they're like, to hell with Zrek. We need to think about everyone on this ship. We gotta go. Like, that conversation happened.
It feels like it must have. It must have.
The ship starts to take off,
Because,
as you
okay,
said.
hold on. Because the people, right? If you're saying they're leaving and they're packing up because the people came, those people aren't that close. So how did they know they were there? And how did they know
Well,
that they
the-
had to
the
just get the heck
spaceship-
out of there?
There's probably somebody observing at
Or you
the
said,
top
like
of
someone's
the
in a
spaceship.
lookout. They're in the lookout point
Yeah,
at the top.
there's probably a lookout. Yeah.
All right, fine. It's just that they had to run so
Right.
far. Because E.T. apparently truly just wandered off for a while during this
Yes.
expedition. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I was trying to figure out, okay, so he's like running and screaming,
Yes.
which we see E.T. run a little bit later on in the show as well. But like,
yes.
he is going at a clip
Oh my god,
to
he's
try
so
to
much
make
faster.
it back to this. And he is making these terrifying noises for at least me. I remember these noises.
Oh,
This,
it's creepy.
Is that not the noise?
Oh my god. I mean, you're right. He is kind of acting like a velociraptor, so I could see that being scary.
between that and the screaming, and then all of the flashlights are just chasing him everywhere, and it's a scary scene.
Yeah.
The ship doors close before he gets there. There's a ton of fucking fog. Like we
Oh
said,
my god, there's so much. Is California
much
this
fog.
foggy? Does it just mist and like swirl all at night? Like
the people all see it take off.
yes.
As well, because they run to the ship and they get to see it, and you don't see exactly what their expression is or what they were thinking.
Right. All of it's in shadow, just silhouettes everywhere.
Right, because we don't know yet if, like, are these people gonna...
Are they bad guys
do they want
or
to dissect
what?
them? Are they government? Are they alien chasers? Like, we don't know yet.
Right. Is this the X-Files? I don't know.
The people do seem disappointed. Like, they let the flashlights go down.
Yeah, they
kind of
droop.
and, like, that's how you're supposed to see, like, oh, they're, like, saddened by it.
Mm-hmm.
He, like, climbed a tree or something? Or he's just, like, off... He sees
he
the ship
must be on
fly
a
away.
hill or something. I don't know. He must have found, like, a vantage point.
But he doesn't know where to go. And, like you said, Rachel, just... what the hell was going on that spaceship? Like, there's gonna have to be a discussion where, like... okay, I can kind of picture it, where it's like, you know, Zrek is gone, we have to go back for Zrek.
Right.
And somebody's like, he's already gone, he's dead. If they can't catch him, he's as good as dead. We need to think about the whole colony. And then they, like, continue to fly off, and until they get the signal, somebody's like, it's Zrek!
He's
Zrek
still
is alive!
He's asking for help.
Like, the only way to justify it is by thinking that he's dead.
Sure.
They're looking for traces of
Anything.
E.T. or all the rest of them.
Right.
And you don't see them, you just see them all in silhouette. So again, it's another visually appealing
Very dramatic.
kind of... Mm-hmm. So that's the start of the movie. The next scene is the most 1980s house you've ever seen.
That's great.
Now, I always thought that they were playing cards.
Oh, no,
I
they're playing
don't
Dungeons and
remember why I
Dragons.
always... yeah, they're playing Dungeons and Dragons. I always thought they were playing cards.
I mean, it kind
So-
of seems like they could be. The way that they're acting, yeah. Also, are they smoking?
Yes, they're smoking.
Okay. You don't see the... oh, I guess you do see... well, no, you don't see any of them smoke. There's
Yeah,
just
you do.
smoke, right?
You don't see... you just see smoke. I assumed that one of them was smoking.
Sure.
You can smell that first scene
Oh, yeah.
with the forest. I can smell this scene too.
Yes.
It's a fall night. There's shitty heaters on because it's 1982.
Yep.
There's smoking. There's pizza. There's that
bunch
shitty
of
lamp.
teenagers that just probably smell
Ugh.
anyways.
What a fucking way to spend a weekend night. That looked
It
looked
did look
like
kind of
the
fun.
best night.
Yeah.
The best night. They're ordering a pizza.
Right.
What a Friday night.
Yep.
I mean, it looks like the best time. Coming back to it, it's like, oh, Stranger Things just stole the E.T.
It kind of does feel that way.
kids.
Yeah. It
Like,
does kind of feel
Stranger
that way
Things
now.
is just the E.T. kids. Like, that's the whole premise. Which is fine. I love Stranger
maybe
Things
that's
too,
what they
but-
got. They got their inspiration from E.T.
No, they absolutely did. There's no way in hell
And they
didn't
just
get
were like, no,
inspiration
let's
from
make it
E.T..
dark and scary. And so it like went from dark and scary to
Well, it's 'cause
childish
it's more like
to
a
more dark
teeny-
and scary again.
Elliott wants to join, but Michael, his older brother, what's his name? Steve is game master, whatever the guy's name is, and you have to ask him, and
Mm-hmm.
the game master won't let him join unless he goes and gets the pizza.
Right.
Which is a pretty sweet deal for Elliott.
I mean,
like,
yeah.
you don't have to pay for the pizza,
No.
you just have to go get it
Right,
when
just
it
go
when it
walk
gets here, and
for
then
it.
you can play. They live in this mansion.
It looks huge.
This house looks big.
It
It
looks
looks smaller. The inside looks smaller, looks more reasonable.
Yes.
But the outside looks big.
It does.
and it doesn't help that they live on this giant hill.
Right. So now it looks like
So
it's
the
this
driveway-
giant house on this long ass driveway. Yes.
I mean, this is an iconic looking house.
I mean, it's
for
very
sure.
80s house
just-
too, because like the kids are sitting in
Oh, so 80s.
they're sitting in seats it's kind of like diner style, the way that they have like the little
Yeah,
booth.
there's a booth.
yeah,
yeah.
and it's like a triangular table and everything. It just feels
Oh,
very
it's disgusting. It just looks disgusting. But it looks like the best time.
It does.
I can't like the fall off. Good, okay, folks. If you're listening to this when the episode drops, it's dropping in summertime. It's a blockbuster. It's a summery movie. This has to be like a fall listen or a fall re-listen for Shelf Life or a fall watch, because it exudes the fall air.
Yeah.
With that fog, and like you can tell it's like brisk.
Yes.
And it just that, like playing cards with pizza on a weekend night. Ah, God. Lovely.
I would be Elliott in this situation. So honestly, it kind of works out that I almost was Elliott, because you guys would be playing cards or some type of video game on like on a Friday night, and I would be like the one going, all right, I want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we let you.
Oh, of course.
When we played cards, we made you permanent. You would deal.
I was the dealer.
For us.
That's true. I was the dealer. To the point where I had a hat that I would put on to be the dealer. It was fun.
Yeah. Elliott goes and gets the pizza, and he's making his way back up the driveway. There's fog everywhere in this neighborhood as well.
Yes.
And he thinks he hears something. Meanwhile, Ponyboy is pretending to touch Mary's butt, Michael's mom.
Oh,
I did
boy.
like Michael being like, don't, or stop, or
Right,
whatever
like,
he
knock
says.
it off, yeah.
Did you realize it was Ponyboy, Rachel? That one of his
No,
friends is Ponyboy?
I did not. I thought you were just making
Tyler
a joke.
in this.
I did not know that was
No.
actually Ponyboy.
Yeah, so it's C. Thomas Howell's first movie
Oh my god.
role. Yeah, so Ponyboy gets to join the Multi-Timers Club. 'Cause
Wow.
he's in E.T. and The Outsiders.
Stay golden, Ponyboy.
So I'm sure at some point we are going to make a joke about how this is clearly the same character, and somehow he got in a time warp.
It does feel that
And-
way now, yeah.
Elliott goes to the backyard, and all we hear is crickets.
Yes.
He thinks it's the dog. He's calling for Harvey, who turns out to be this golden retriever mix
definitely,
or something.
Definitely, yes. Cute.
The light is on in the shed.
Oh my god. This scene, is this like a Close Encounters scene? Because it's very like aliens are coming to Earth. Like I'm expecting to see an alien in this scene. Like just from like the picture of it. There's a cornfield.
Right.
There's this shed with a light on.
For some reason.
There's like the back porch and fog, and it's at night with the moon. And I'm just looking at this going, I expect an alien to pop out. I'm expecting it.
Yeah. It is very picturesque, that Norman Rockwell-y look of, alien encounter would be like the name of the painting.
Alien encounter, exactly.
Did E.T. turn the light on in the shed?
He must
Because why is the light on?
He must
like
have
on
turned
accident?
it on. Well, maybe he turned it on just so we could see.
How does he know what to work a light?
They don't have light switches on the ship? I don't know.
Maybe not. I don't know. We don't have light switches here. Only motion sensor.
Maybe he saw a string and pulled it. Okay? And then turned the light on.
All right. Whatever. I would be creeped out. As someone that lives by
that
himself,
is horrifying.
Like, I've done the thing where, like, I turn the TV on and I forget that I, like, press the button because I'm, like, thinking about something else.
Yes.
And I turn to do something else, and then suddenly you hear a voice and it startles you because you forgot that you turned the TV on.
Yes, I've done this. You don't do the thing
that's like that
where
feeling.
you're down, you have to turn off all the lights downstairs and you run up the stairs and to get
No,
to your
I'm
room.
okay about that.
I still do that. I mean, I don't like run, but I will be brisk about it. I don't know why. It just, you get this creepy feeling on the back of your neck when you turn all the lights off.
I mean, I've got, like, night lights and stuff, but, I understand. He sets the pizza down on the ground, which this whole thing could have been avoided if he set the pizza down on the patio.
Yeah,
regardless.
like put it on the ping pong table, put it on the table that's over there, a chair, the ground.
Yeah, the ground.
Ridiculous.
And he takes a baseball and he tosses a baseball into the shed, and the ball immediately is thrown back out.
That the dog is going to get it and then come back out.
Yeah, because I think he thinks, like, come on, Harvey, like, grab the ball or whatever.
Right.
But the way that it gets tossed back out, he's like, okay, that was not Harvey. And he freaks out.
Yes.
Which would be scary.
Yeah, there's
He
a
turns
person in the
and-
freaking shed right now.
Yes.
Like...
He turns it and runs back in. He trips over the pizza.
Yep.
Man, talk about ruining it.
Yep.
Talk about ruining it. Elliott panically is telling them all, like, you can't go out there. Like, he's like, Mom, there's something out there, blah, 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 blah. So they kind of all look at each other, because Elliott's like, quiet!
Yes. Because they're all, like, making fun of him. They're just mocking him.
Yeah, and he goes, nobody go out there. And of course, then all the
Of
boys were like, well, we
course.
gotta go see this.
Well, yeah.
So they all pretend to like grab weapons. They grab knives to like
Yes.
pretend like we're gonna go save the day. And they all go outside. They think that like he was probably spooked by like a raccoon or something. Is my guess.
That or a coyote, because we find out that they've had coyotes before.
They've had coyotes. Yeah. One of the boys does a Twilight Zone sound effect as they're
Yes.
walking outside. Just to tie everything up for us in a
Perfect.
neat little package then. And they all look inside the shed and they see nothing is there. But the gate is open. And there are footprints.
There's something. There's some sort of weird print. Mind you, it looks like a massive hand. Like webbed feet type of like thing. Like that those are massive. And he goes, it's coyotes. And it's like, you have a dog. You know what a paw looks like. That looks nothing like a paw. I guess if it maybe like was digging, but like, in a perfect handprint, like what is this?
Or maybe if it was dragging something.
I guess.
I don't know. I don't know how they thought it was coyotes either. I guess they're just seeing what they want to
Logical.
see.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
logical
Like, what's the most
move.
logical thing? It's probably the coyotes. They see the pizza, which has been trashed because he stepped on it. So the cheese is all on the top of the box now. So
Right.
Elliott
It's
ruined
depressing.
pizza night. The mom is like, who told you guys you could order pizza?
Yeah, she just gets mad at him.
They should just eat it. Like, it's probably fine.
Yeah,
it's
it's
probably a
probably
$10 like
fine.
Little Caesars pizza. And I don't even know what a Little Caesars pizza would have cost in 1982.
Sure.
Folks at home, let us know. But come on, it's not that bad.
Well, the
Get
worst
another
part
one.
is like they're like, it's ruined. Just leave it out here. Yeah, for the coyotes that you
Yeah,
just
they
said.
just leave it out there for the coyotes.
Like, what is that?
Yeah, take it in. There's probably half of it's probably okay.
Ridiculous. Or at least throw it away.
And then you kind of see that E.T. was in the shed the whole time.
Yes, because his
Because
hand,
his fingers-
creepy ass thing where he just like puts it around the shed door, and you're just like, okay.
He's all of his actions are very deliberate with those
Oh,
fingers
absolutely.
the entire time.
Absolutely.
So the hands are all done by a professional mime. Steven Spielberg hired a mime
Oh my
to
God.
do
Well,
all
they
of
are-
the hand acting.
They do a lot of hand acting, so that would make sense.
Harvey the dog
Very cute.
is in the bottom bunk.
Does he get the bottom
s-
bunk? I love that he just gets a bunk to
Yeah.
himself.
I think so. Because
It's
I don't
very
think,
fun.
like, Michael does not stay in the same bedroom as Elliot.
No.
They all have their own bedrooms.
Yes,
so I
very
think,
big
yeah,
house.
Harvey just stays, yeah. Well, Mrs. E.T. is doing all right for
I think
herself.
she is,
She's got the...
honestly. She's doing a good job.
Or you've got, they're going through the divorce.
Yeah, we
and
find out
everything,
about
so
divorce.
We don't
and
know.
something about Mexico. Every time they would say Mexico, I was like, what are they talking about? It just kept coming up. Mexico.
The dad...
I know,
the
but you
dad
didn't
left
know that till
with
later.
The mistress. Yeah, well, they'd say it in that scene, because they say, like, Elliot says I can't. He's in Mexico with Sally.
Oh, never mind then. I was so confused about Mexico. Maybe I just missed him saying that part. All right.
You must have dismissed it. Harvey is in the bottom bunk, and he hears something and wakes up. Elliot is in the top bunk.
Already
And he's
awake.
been awake the entire time,
Yeah.
like, just staring. Because he doesn't believe that it was just coyotes.
God,
he thinks it's,
no.
like, something else.
Right. Well, my question
Well,
was
'cause he
like,
saw the ball
something
get thrown.
threw the ball at me.
Yeah, that's how I would have led with it. He decides to go outside wearing these super 1980s pajamas and a coat.
He is just
Is this a
wearing long
thing?
underwear. He is just
Yeah,
wearing
it's
long
long
underwear.
underwear.
That's it.
So, like,
It looks
Did-
so dumb. I'm not gonna lie.
did people wear long underwear? Like, do people do this? It's Northern California,
I
so
guess
they
it'd
get
be cooler.
cold. Is that a thing?
I guess.
Folks, let us know. Does anyone out there,
Do you still wear it? Does it have like a flap?
fall time,
I need to know.
we're like a week away from Halloween. Are you wearing long underwear to bed?
It feels too hot. It's got to be like a really
just-
cold place
yeah.
to me if I'm going to wear long
it
underwear.
seems like it's too hot. And it's so tight and restrictive on you. Like, the whole point of it is, like...
to keep you warm.
So that it's
to
skin
to
tight,
truly
yeah.
keep in that heat.
Anyway,
Anyways.
as you said, there's a cornfield by the house for some reason, even though they're like, in the neighborhood. But I'm guessing their house must be the last one that backs up to this
Yeah, it's
field,
gotta-
which then
it's
backs
gotta
up
be.
to the hill, that gets to the forest.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense necessarily, but it's a good effect
Right.
to have, like, the cornfield that he has to walk through with aliens. Because, like, it seems cliche, but that's because it's been taken a million times because of things like E.T., where, like, of course the alien is in the cornfield.
Exactly.
He starts walking in the stalks with a flashlight.
Why? I don't know.
So many flashlights.
I really
so many
wouldn't.
flashlights in this movie. No, I wouldn't walk... Are you kidding me? There's a cornfield by my house, and I'm like... Or whatever it is, field by my house, and there's big stalks, and it's like... I'm not gonna walk in this fucking thing.
No. No.
What's the best case scenario? Is he
Bigfoot.
walks in there and... Yes, that's where I was going. Is that there's a fucking Sasquatch. There's
It's
a
gotta be.
Harry from Harry and the Hendersons is in here. And that's your best case scenario.
It's very true.
Like, what does he think is going to happen?
Yes.
But for whatever reason, he goes out there.
Yes, he does. He's
He
so
just
brave.
feels
Good job, kid.
compelled. He pans down and sees footprints in the dirt, and I thought his baseball. So I think that E.T. took the baseball a little bit
He
as
must
he
have.
went inside.
Yeah.
Another lens flare is given by his flashlight, and we hear E.T. breathing a little bit, which is a more labored breath. I think because he's not supposed to be this far away from, like, the other E.T.s to be able to breathe on Earth, so it's a little like...
Oh, you think that's why? You didn't think he was, like, nervous? Because he sees the lights just like the other guys that he saw on the hill?
He's cold. Maybe. He shines the flashlight up. They see each other. E.T. screams.
Right.
Elliott screams back. The stalks move, and E.T. runs. And
It's
he,
like
panic
running
runs,
in
like,
circles.
in a circle.
Yes.
Yeah. But then Elliott sees, like, a path that he must have taken, because he see, like, the swing set and stuff in the backyard are moving, and then, like, the trash can's been tipped over, and the gate has been opened. So
It's swinging.
you see
Right.
how he took off. And Elliott just kind of stands by the swing set and looks on in awe.
Which, again-
I think it's supposed to be a look of awe.
He's so fast.
Yes, very fast.
He went up those stairs, like, 3 at a time without having legs.
Meanwhile, he waddles everywhere else. Is that
Right.
kind of your,
Yes, that is my
yeah.
point. He penguin walks
No, you know,
everywhere else.
He gets that adrenaline, Rachel,
I
and he
guess.
just takes off.
Fine.
He chases Gertie in a little bit.
It's
In probably my favorite scene of the movie. The next day, Elliott takes off on his bike up a hill to the forest. I assume because he thinks it's some sort of animal, so it probably went back to the forest. So he's trying to find it.
Yeah, because he like I said, it ran upstairs. So I wonder if that went into like the forest area.
Yeah,
into a
it
field,
goes towards
maybe?
the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he, of course, takes a bag of Reese's Pieces with him,
Of course.
which was the big product placement of this movie, and he starts tossing the candy around to try to lure it.
Yep. It's a massive bag of Reese's Pieces, by the way.
It's a big bag.
You
Made me
wouldn't see
hungry.
these ever again, unless they're like
You don't think so?
They have to be at least $30. Here's your $30 bag of Reese's Pieces.
Yes,
Like-
yes, I agree. Like this is the bag, because it's not even like a bag of little boxes
No.
of like Halloween candy
Oh, no.
Reese's Pieces. This is like a big like
It is a full bag of just the Reese's Pieces.
This is a walk-in bag of Reese's Pieces. Like you are you're walking into the movie theater with this giant bag for your whole family.
Oh my god, yes.
This was originally supposed to be M&Ms.
Yeah, I could see that too.
But the Mars Corporation thought that E.T. was too scary for kids, so they
Okay.
didn't want to associate M&Ms with something scary like E.T.
I guess.
So we got Reese's instead.
Interesting.
I like it just fine.
No, I
If
like
either
I
way
love
could have
Reese's,
worked.
So I'm not gonna say.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, we had our folks at home listen to the back catalog. We've got Munch Madness in
That's
there.
right. That's right. Did Reese's win? I don't know. Go listen to it. I'm not gonna tell you.
There's a man in the forest
Yes.
poking through the brush. It's keys. I think eventually you see his dangling keys in this, but he's looking for any
Anything.
evidence he can to try to figure out if E.T. is still around, or like is there anything that they left behind or anything like that.
Right.
Eventually they must put together... Oh, no, they do. When he finds the pile, E.T. leaves a pile of the Reese's Pieces in, like, a nest.
Yeah, he's like in
Like,
the
he's,
brush.
like, collected them.
Right.
Yeah. And Keys bends down and finds them, and I guess that's how he realizes that one of them is still here.
Yeah, I think it has to be.
Elliott scrambles back home after seeing the man in the woods, And E.T. was around the corner.
He
was like nearby them. So now he's like seen Elliott like, oh, he's like leaving me something.
What's that?
So
yeah,
he just
like wants to see what it is.
And we get a dinner scene with Elliott and his family. Elliott is upset that they don't believe him. And Michael, of course, is teasing him and being like, well, maybe it was a goblin.
Right. Well, of course, Dungeons and Dragons, so goblin, of course.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That actually explains a lot of it for me. All right. It's all kind of coming together. Well, because as a kid, I didn't know what Dungeons and Dragons was.
No, that's fair.
We meet Gertie, played by Drew Barrymore.
Adorable Gertie.
As I said, I think she's absolutely adorable in this movie. I think she kind of steals a lot of the scenes, and a lot of the emotion comes from Gertie.
Yes.
It made me mad at her parents. Because if anybody knows Drew Barrymore's history, she had so many issues with substance abuse. She was like an alcoholic at like 9 years old or something ridiculous.
It's so sad. She's doing well, but I mean, it was so sad.
You know that, like, okay, you can see this girl, and she's so damn good at this. It just is like this, like, terrible thing that I think that, like,
I agree.
You know, what she ended up having to go through to kind of, because she's fine now, like you said.
Yeah, she's doing great now.
We
but
learned,
it's like, it just sucks as like a kid, like, oh my god. Because it could have turned out way worse for her, you know?
Yeah, she could be dead.
She could be dead.
She is great in this, though.
Oh my god, I love her.
She's absolutely great in this.
I love that she keeps, like, repeating things at this table, too. She's just, like,
so, like,
it's very kiddish.
At first she's, like, you can tell you're entering, like, halfway through the conversation or whatever, because Elliott's all mopey and pissed, because none of them believe him. And Gertie, just because she's a little kid, just changes the subject and is like, what are you gonna be for Halloween?
Right.
And Elliott's like, I don't want to talk about that. And the mom's like, okay, I guess we should change the subject. So she's like, what are you going to be, Gertie? And Gertie's like, a cowgirl.
I'm gonna be a cowgirl.
So Michael is saying, like, well, maybe the thing was something else. You know, like how people know that there's alligators in the sewers. And this is where you're alligators in the sewers.
You know how they say there are alligators in the sewers?
Alligators in the sewers.
All we're trying to say is, maybe you just probably imagined it.
I couldn't have imagined it.
Maybe it was a pervert or deformed kid or something.
A deformed kid.
Maybe an elf or a leprechaun.
It was nothing like that, penis breath.
Elliott!
Right. A deformed kid.
Yeah, it's just the way she did that. She looks like
because
she's
like nodding along.
Like, it's gotta be that. She thinks it's like a game.
I'm sure she gets teased by her older brothers a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So this is like her getting to tease Elliott.
With the older brother, right?
Elliott gets mad and calls Michael penis breath, which was an improv.
Oh, it's great,
Michael
though.
Tom.
But it was so funny,
Thomas.
because it makes the mom, like, laugh, and then she's like, Elliott! Like...
Yes,
Just like, I would
which was
have
a genuine reaction. Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't like get mad at him. She's like, sit down.
Don't do that. But God, that was funny.
And that's part of what Spielberg wanted the movie to be, is this like spontaneous.
It feels like a family. It feels like an actual family, like, conversation and everything.
Yeah.
The dynamic is great.
Elliott says that his dad would believe him, which is a dick move, because
just a little.
As we learn. And she says, well, maybe you should call your father and tell him about it.
Right.
And Elliott's like, I can't call him because he's in Mexico with Sally.
So are they just on vacation, or do they live in Mexico?
No, I think he, like, left
He's
the
an
country.
asshole, then.
Yeah.
He's just the deadbeat piece of crap dad. I don't like him.
Yeah, that's the...
Because...
Yeah, that's what they're getting at.
I hate that so much.
It's clearly, like, a recent divorce where the dad...
absolutely.
Was having an affair, maybe? Like, they know who Sally is.
Yeah, I bet Sally was... I bet he's a businessman, and Sally was his... Because it just feels like where he would go with this, and with, like, the story, and because of, like, the time period, it would just make sense that he's some businessman, and Sally was the secretary.
I like that we're giving...
secretary.
We're trying to make, like... it's fucking Elliott's dad, this prick.
That's how I see him. He's off in Mexico. They can't even contact him. What a jackass. Like, come on. You have 3 kids.
I think they could contact him, but...
I don't know. I think he just cut ties. It's like, I don't want this family anymore. Ass.
Ass. This brings the dinner to a halt. This is the thing that they're all trying to forget about, is that the fact that, like, this divorce is happening.
Right. It made his mom sad.
Gertie asks where Mexico is, because...
It's a good question.
You would. It's a little kid.
Right.
And then Michael is mad that he made his mom upset, because his mom got up and kind of, like, left the table, because she didn't want to see... I don't think she wanted them to see her sad. Upset.
No.
Yeah. But they all know the score, so, like, what's the difference?
Well, it's one of those things, I think, where parents go, I'm going to keep them away from knowing that I'm, like, super upset, and I'm going to try to, hide them and keep them safe from this. But kids always know. They always know. They know what's going on. They can see it from, like, how you guys, like, respond to everything. I think that's what's happening. So she's trying to keep them, like, in the dark a little bit. But even, like, the big brother's like, oh my god, like, why did you do that? Like, we already know what's gonna happen.
Fun and Michael to, like, do
throw
the,
something
like,
at him?
Hell's the matter with you?
I would if he would have thrown the potato or something, I would have been like, yes. Or, like, a carrot or whatever is at the table. I don't know what they're eating. The roll.
I couldn't tell. It looked like... Gertie's chewing on, like, what looks like a steak or some meatloaf or something.
Yeah.
So, the mom says to... Whose name is Mary? But
yes.
E.T.'s mom is
it's
what
mom.
she'll always be known. It's what E.T. calls her. So she says, if you ever see this thing again, don't go up to it or anything. Just let her know so that they can, somebody can come and get rid of it. And Gertie's like the dog catcher?
Oh.
Which is it's a good little reaction.
It is a good reaction.
Then they all argue about whose turn it is to do the dishes.
Yes.
Michael tries to big brother Elliott by telling him to, like, grow up already, because then, like, the mom gets upset.
She was,
again,
like, bawling. Her face was red and crying and hates Mexico and left.
Goes, like,
oh my God,
I thought she says he doesn't even like Mexico.
Oh, yeah, I think that's what it is.
Meaning, like, the dad doesn't like Mexico.
All I kept hearing, and I think I almost, like, missed the fact that I kind of remember, like, hearing the dad being in Mexico later on. I don't know why I missed it in this scene. All I kept hearing throughout the movie was, God damn it, Mexico. Like, that's all I kept hearing.
That was
like, what's in Mexico?
So you had no idea why
Mexico?
they were talking about Mexico? Did you think that it was some sort of immigration message and that E.T. was a migrant?
God, well, that's interesting.
I'm looking for work.
No, I kind of assumed it was the dad, but I was like, tell me.
Hello, senor.
Anyways.
Now I just picture E.T. Okay, so now I'm just picturing E.T. at the beginning of Men in Black, and he's in the back of that truck, and he's like, oh dear,
oh, no,
I need to get out of this truck. And he, like, waddles away while the rest of them get caught.
He just waddles away.
Yeah. Put out an APB on a small little alien. Goes by the name of Zrek. He's a botanist.
Oh, great. Now we're crossing over with Men in Black again.
Oh, no, that would have been a thing. If Keys and them are, like, searching in the woods and Kay just pulls up like a young...
Flashy
it's Josh
things
Brolin because it's... Yeah, it's Josh Brolin because it's a young Kay. And
right.
Like, and he's like, who's this guy? And you only see him from the waist down, but you just hear, we'll take it from here. And it like, moves over. Like,
and you can see the flashy things.
Yeah, and you see the neuralizer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like
Give
the
me that
logo
sketch,
of MIB.
Yeah, the sunglasses are right there.
Yes.
That could have been like a really fun teaser trailer for like a new Men in Black or like a Men in Black set in the 80s.
Ooh.
Because it's both Universal, or one's Sony, but they have ties to Universal with the ride. So that could have been like a really fun little like thing. That could actually be a really fun way to market Men in Black. Like all of the teaser trailers are just different alien movies, and the Men in Black keep showing up and neuralizing people.
Yes, so that they don't remember. Like, no, we got to keep these guys safe. Like
Independence Day. One of them gets in front of the president podium and just neuralizes the entire world.
Yes. Everybody just look here. It's like a stadium of lights.
Need to find this boy named Elliott. We need to neuralize him immediately. What you saw was a coyote, and you'll see it again, and it'll be another coyote. Zrek, what have I said about finding these boys while you're on your little botany trips? We have a rule. You come here, you collect, and you leave.
Yes. You have your passport. You have a pass, but you can't stay longer than that.
My passport shows I'm allowed to be here. This is discrimination. So anyway, Elliott starts doing the dishes, and he's this mimics the fog with the steam here.
Man, that is
he has
hot
that water on too hot.
That is
too hot.
Nuts.
You're gonna burn your hands, folks at
They
home.
would be bright red.
I always burn my hands. I did dishes today. My hands are all red because of it. I'd never have it on where there's steam just coming out of the sink like that.
No, it's like too much. It's too much.
In the 80s, though, they didn't have dishwashers that were as good as they are today. So you had to do everything by hand
Yeah,
like
I guess
that.
that's
so
fair.
I
Yeah.
get it.
Gotta get that food off. It's gonna take forever.
Elliott decides to sit outside by the shed with a flashlight, waiting for E.T. The background, again, Rachel, like you said, very picturesque.
Oh, very.
This time, E.T., as Elliott is sitting there, comes out to see him. And
Yes.
this is pants-crappingly terrifying.
It's scary. Because, again, it's in
This
the
silhouette.
shadows.
This silhouette of E.T., the way E.T. is lit,
Yes.
the way he moves,
Yes.
this is so fucking scary.
And then they show Elliot, and all he has is the light over his eyes, and they're wide, like, oh my god.
And like some pan zoom shots of like Elliott's face and stuff too, to kind of bring it home that he is scared.
Yes.
And Elliott is trying to shout for his mom and Michael, but he's like in shock, so it's just a whisper of him being like, Mom, Mom, Mom.
Yes.
Like, he can't get it out.
Oh. And then why does
E.T.
E.T. do this? Why does he do this? It's so mean. Like, I guess it's like approaching an animal, but it's like he stops, he waits a second, and then he waddle with his arms like drag, and then he stops. And then he does it again, and then he stops. And that is creepy. And he just keeps getting closer to Elliot.
Maybe you're right, Rachel. Maybe he's trying to see what the reaction is going to be.
I think it has to be.
So he's like little step by step.
I think that's what's happening. It's just like a little approach, but because of the way he walks and because it's already a horror film, it's like, and then it like stops.
Oh my god, no. It's scary as shit. Folks at home, just do this. If you like, let's say you live with like a significant other, get on your knees, have them fall asleep, and then backlight the room so that you are in silhouette on your knees. And then just gangly walk, shuffle toward them. They'll freak the fuck out.
They really would. I would. Oh.
Just the way that he shuffles, I like a picture it in my head.
Yes.
Oh my god. I'm trying to think of how 3-year-old Kevin like watched this. Well, I did. I some of these scenes have stayed with me forever.
It's true.
E.T. brings him back the Reese's.
Yes.
So he slowly reaches out with his hand and drops a bunch of Reese's. Like, here you go. You left the Reese's for me. Like, I appreciate it.
Sure. It also feels like he brought back the breadcrumb trail. Like, I came back to you because it felt like you were leading me back here to talk. Like,
Yep.
I knew it was you. I saw you doing this, so I came back.
Yeah. He purrs, and Elliott then begins to lure him
Again,
to his room.
I don't think he had
with
to do
more
this.
Reese's. No, I don't think he had to do this. But Elliott doesn't really understand that he's like an intelligent creature.
Yeah, he thinks it's an
so
animal.
I think he thinks like it's a movie about a boy bringing a stray dog home.
Yeah,
That's the dynamic. So he's got the stray dog and he's bringing it back into his house.
sure.
Being a scientist, E.T. naturally curious about everything,
Right.
including Reese's Pieces, though. So he's gonna, make his way in.
Also, just delicious.
And-
so he's like, that's fine.
Well, peanut butter and chocolate. I mean, come on.
you can't go wrong.
I have a peanut allergy and I couldn't eat any of your Reese's Pieces.
That's all he's doing. Is just like, I brought him back because I can't eat these. I'll die.
That's what killed E.T.
Yeah.
It's just a peanut allergy.
He just had a
and it
peanut
was a
allergy.
slow effect.
Yeah.
E.T. starts just grabbing shit off of Elliott's workbench that he had. Elliott, excellent room here. He's got like a workbench in this
he
thing.
does have
He's
like
got
a workbench.
fish tank.
Yeah.
He's got a couch. This room
It's a
is
big room.
very odd. So he starts crashing some stuff, because E.T.'s just grabbing stuff off of the bench because he's curious. He's
he's
a
just
scientist.
looking at everything.
Elliott closes the door and puts a blanket around E.T., who I think got frightened by the crash. I think that's like why he put a blanket on him.
Yeah, I think that.
And
must
he's
be what
cold
he did.
from being outside.
I think it's like when I feel scared, I put the blanket around me, or like I hide under the blanket. So like he's like, I'm gonna put the blanket around you, and hopefully that makes you feel like comfort.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how I pictured it. Because again, I think E.T.'s a kid, so.
They do portray him as like a kid. No,
yes.
I could see that.
But
then he was in like elementary school on a field trip, or it is his parents were the scientists, or
it's
whatever.
his family, and they're a bunch of scientists.
Which makes it even worse that they had to. They
know.
said we're leaving him behind. Elliott, not knowing what to make of it, wipes his nose. It's one of those like I think he's trying to regroup and like think like okay, like what do I do? As he does that, E.T. mimics him, and we get a classic Steven Spielberg scene of one character mimicking another character. See Jaws. It's exactly the same thing. Yeah, there's the scene where Sheriff Brody is sitting there with rubbing his face, and then the kid is rubbing his face,
that's true.
and then so it's the same scene.
Yeah.
He waves, and he does the same, and then Elliott laughs at the creature being able to do it.
Right.
Suddenly, Elliott gets super tired, and it's got to be because E.T. is tired. Has E.T. made this decided I can make a connection to him?
Is this?
I do kind of want to know why.
I had a thought. Is he making a connection with the kid because he needs to have a connection to continue to live? And he's like pretty much like sucking that life essence from him.
I'm going to take a few years off your life here. It'll be fine. I think that could be what he's doing. Not sucking the life essence out of him, but I think he's thinking I can.
To him, I think that is kind of what he's doing.
Yes, I can trust this human. I'm going to connect with him because
I need.
All I know is I need to make a connection, and that's how we all survive.
Right.
So maybe if I make a connection with a human, I'll be able to survive on this planet.
Sure.
I think that's what
it is. That's what it feels like. But you think Elliott's only tired because of E.T. He was also falling asleep outside. So I think it might be a twofold.
The way he falls back in this chair,
he's
falls
just
asleep. And I'm sorry.
It's like insta-sleep.
I don't care if I'm psychically connected to this alien or not.
It's an alien in my room.
I just met an alien.
Yep.
I'm not falling asleep.
I'm wide awake.
This thing could try to dissect me while I fall asleep. I don't know.
Right.
He could be playing the long game.
That's right. Maybe E.T.'s putting him to sleep. Now we're back to horror movie. He's like, sleep.
Sleep.
Could be.
They show back in the... You don't know. You don't know if you can trust E.T. The music indicates you can.
Yeah.
Back in the forest, the men have set up machines. They're looking for stuff. And Keys finds a nest of Reese's, like we said. He eats one, to be sure. And all I could think was, dude, that could be E.T. poop for all you know.
That's right. That's right.
They could poop little Reese's pebbles.
That's where we get Reese's from. It's alien poop.
Still would eat them.
I like how you contemplated that, though, for a second. You find out what it is, and then you're just like, yeah, I'll keep eating. It's fine.
The next morning, Elliott is tricking his mom into having a fever, complete with lamp and heating pad to try to increase his temperature.
Yes.
I don't think that the thermometers that we have nowadays would allow you to do this, especially those forehead scanners.
Oh, no, they would just use the forehead scanner at this point, yeah. Anything that has mercury, you could definitely do this trick.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Because the mercury is just
applying
itself to the temperature.
I'll admit it. I've done it.
I don't think I could have done it if I knew how to do it.
I learned it from this.
From watching you, Henry Thomas.
Because I remember him doing that.
She goes into this movie closet. I think this closet is the closet that him and Gertie share.
Yes, it is
so
like
a
Jack and Jill closet.
Yeah, but it's still a room unto itself.
It is a walk-in closet.
It's a pretty awesome space.
Oh, it's great.
Not gonna lie. Like, for a kid, this would be fucking sweet.
I would turn
to, like,
that
have this,
into
like,
a
fort.
playhouse. Absolutely.
Yeah. This thing is pretty awesome. He must have E.T. in here, though, because he freaks out a bit when the mom goes into the closet.
Yes. I bet he was having him sleep on that comforter because, like, she brings it out and he's just, like, his eyes are, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and then...
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was a sleeping bag.
It might have been. I don't know. It's some sort of extra giant poofy blanket, okay?
Yeah.
I thought it was just the comforter.
Michael's trying to back out of the driveway. He's doing a poor job of it.
Yes.
Elliott tells him that she'll be fine if she goes to work, and she says no TV and leaves.
How mean. The kid's sick. Let him watch TV.
Well, if he's supposed to be sleeping to, like, get better.
I guess, but...
What do kids do? Do kids listen to... Like, folks at home, are you sick and listening to this podcast? Like, that has to be a thing,
that could
right?
be it. Like, you could just lay there and have this on. That could be nice.
Make sure you have some fluids, some soups, whatever.
Yeah, take care of yourself. You know, stay hydrated.
And enjoy some more episodes of Shelf Life. You can definitely fall asleep to us. That's fine. Just rewind it and listen again. It's fine.
Yeah, just download it again. That's fine. More streaming. Thank
we
you.
need more. Yeah, we need more downloads. We need more word of mouth. Let your friends know. The family leaves, and Gertie tells on Michael for doing a poor job with the car, which I always like to. She's like, look at what Michael left.
So funny.
Elliott lures E.T. out of the closet.
Yes.
And he asks E.T. if he talks. He tries to tell him his name. He's like, me, Elliott, human, I'm an Elliott. What are you? And E.T. just moves over and, like, puts his attention toward the fish tank. And then, like a kid would, Elliott starts showing all of his stuff.
Oh my god.
That he has.
So quickly, though. If he thought he was, like, being slow and telling him his name, and then all of a sudden he's like, this is what this is. Oh, but this is what this is. And then this is what this is. And I'm just like, dude, slow down.
It was like a
dude,
it was like
slow
a kid
down. He
would,
is
though.
not processing anything you're saying yet.
It was like how a kid would do it, though.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of liked that, because it was so, like, I just want to show this, I want to show my new friend all of this shit.
Right, like, here's all my Star Wars action figures, which is funny, because I just think it's funny that they could have Star Wars action figures, and, like, this is Lando Calrissian, and...
yeah, but here's Boba Fett.
Right.
Technically, E.T. should have recognized some of those guys. Although, I guess Star Wars happened a long time ago, so...
Right, yeah.
Yeah, not...
It was one of the ETs. It might not have been him.
Same species, but yeah,
for sure.
No, I like that he did that.
Yeah,
I like E.T.'s eyes in this scene too, because he is looking, like, observant.
Yes, he's trying to
listening.
learn. Yeah, he's trying to understand. I was a little concerned that a fish was about to be eaten.
That would have been pretty sweet.
Like,
though.
he puts his hand
I'm not gonna lie.
into it because, like, Elliott shoves the damn shark in there. Is like, look at the shark eats the fish, and then nothing eats the shark. And then I'm like, oh, is E.T. about to, like, reach in there and pull the fish out?
That would have been. That's
like,
if they went straight up.
Like.
That would have been great. I think E.T. realizes what's living and what's not.
I
think
so
that's probably
too.
why he didn't.
I think so too.
I know that they've done an E.T. parody on American Dad with Roger, but that feels like that'd be like a thing that Roger would do.
Oh, absolutely.
Where it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna eat this sushi then, or whatever, and eat the fish. Elliott hands E.T. a Matchbox car, and E.T. tries to eat it.
Okay, speaking of, could be hungry.
Harvey wants in.
Yes.
Harvey knows that E.T. is
There's
there, and he wants to see him. And E.T. shrieks at it, so Harvey can't quite meet him yet.
Right.
I think. Because, I mean, the dogs that we've had, Rachel would do the exact same thing.
Oh, yeah,
There's
absolutely.
this weird creature in this...
I'm gonna bark
the
at
one
it.
would be afraid... The one would be afraid of it, the one would want to go meet it, and the one would try to kill it. And I think...
One might not care at all.
If I was E.T. and I saw... this dog, I'd shit my pants.
Yeah, I think I would have been afraid of it too, because you can't tell if it's gonna come at you.
Elliott should have hold Harvey's collar and
smell him.
Approach E.T. and be like, look, it's okay. He's a pet.
Right.
E.T. opens an umbrella and gets scared, and Elliott drops stuff from the fridge because he also gets scared. So we're seeing that there is a connection here. Melissa Matheson said that she wanted to make sure that it came off that E.T. and Elliott were feeling each other's feelings, not thinking each other's thoughts.
Right.
So this was like how they did that. As a kid, I didn't always pick up on that, I don't think, for sure. This is where it was like interesting because I know a lot of these scenes in my head from it just being imprinted on me, but I did not necessarily comprehend it. So like it was different going back and seeing all of those things and being able to comprehend them.
Right. Now I can look at this scene and say, yeah, he's feeling what E.T. is feeling. You can tell that the connection was made at this point. I feel like before this, or, you know, like when I was a kid, I probably would have just thought he heard E.T. yelp and like heard the like something fall and that startled him, because that's what would have startled me. Because he looks up. So I'm like, oh, you just heard him up there, it startled you, and you're still like apprehensive. Yeah. Okay.
Elliott brings back a plate for E.T., who is hiding in the stuffed animals shaking, going
Yeah.
Elliott offers him a Coke, so they hang out after.
It's kind of funny.
There's a deleted scene where Elliott gives E.T. a bath.
Oh, that's weird.
And E.T. enjoys going under the water.
I know that scene.
Maybe they've like had it like
did they
they've
cut
added
it?
it back in on like TV edits, maybe.
I remember
that
scene because he like goes under the water and it's bubbling, and Elliott pulls him out from under the water.
Yeah, but he actually is likes being under the
like
he like puts him back self. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I remember that scene. This didn't have that scene.
Well, no, because it's a deleted scene.
I know, but I remember it. So like I must have watched with the deleted scenes then.
Yeah, there's probably like a TV edit that's got the deleted scenes back in or something.
Well, I watched it before this, and I have no idea when that was.
Michael comes home after football practice, grabs a Coke, and then he goes near Elliott's room, and Elliott like tells him to come in.
Right.
And Elliott trusts him. Michael's like, "How are you doing, you faker?" Because like they all know that he's not really sick. Elliott's like, "The goblin, it came back."
Yes.
And of course, Mike is making fun of him by doing like the old hand. The other hand grabbing him.
Yeah.
So Elliott's like, swear that I have absolute power in this situation and all of this stuff.
And of course it's a Yoda reference. You have absolute power is what his brother does.
Yeah, like stand here and keep your eyes closed. He thinks at first that it's the coyote. Like, did you
bring a coyote into the house? Like, don't do that.
Yeah. He tells him to swear like the most important promise you can make. It's the same thing. Mike says the same thing to his mom later on too. Like the most important promise or the biggest promise.
It must be a family thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. He makes Mike take off the shoulder pads because he thinks that it'll scare him.
Fair.
And he's
Yeah.
like, "Mom is gonna kill you." He does the Yoda thing.
Mm-hmm.
He turns around and he sees E.T. But before he can fully react, because it would take a minute to process.
I think so, yes.
Elliott, there is a 3-foot-tall, bald, naked man
in the room.
Do you see him too?
Did you make it? Is it real?
This is my favorite scene in the
movie. I love this so much.
Gertie runs in with something that she made for Elliott.
Yeah.
Yeah. She screams. E.T. screams.
With his head extended.
His head goes nuts. Mike starts screaming. The mom is home. They shut the door. And then the stuff like fell off the wall because Mike like went back out of like shock.
Oh my god, my husband was just like, those shelves were not put up properly because they all just fall off the wall.
Yeah, I mean, even with Mike just kind of backing into
I don't even think they were on the wall. I think it's just like a thing that's like next to it.
I read somewhere on the trivia that wasn't supposed to happen.
I bet, because the way Mike looks at it, like, oh god, and then like just goes back to looking at the alien.
Gertie and Mike run off into the closet, and E.T. follows them
with his arms in the air.
He's got his. He's got his arms up in the air.
And he's good. And then she screams again.
She stops and screams, and he's just running after her, going, "Ah!" What a beautiful moment! What a beautiful moment!
It's so perfect, though. Because you can tell this is like a close family. They give each other crap and stuff, but you can tell they're close because it's not like the one is trying to tell the mom or anything. It's like, no, we just have to hide this really quick. Just hide it. Shush. Like, we gotta figure out what's going on.
It's a really nice depiction of a family. Again, I think Stranger Things tries to take those elements as well.
Mm-hmm.
I always like that because, I mean, we've talked about it in other things with some of like the brother-sister dynamics and some of the other shows that we've watched, when a family acts a little more real in these things than not, because like this feels very real. They feel very real.
They feel very real. They feel like a family. And they're probably like, he probably immediately goes, don't tell mom, she doesn't need this right now. I'll help you figure this out.
I mean, they understand that, but I don't think they said anything. It's just they were like, just hide now.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think he thought this in his head. Like, mom doesn't need this. We'll try to do this together, just the three of us. Like, Gertie shouldn't have been here anyways, but whatever. Like,
yeah. I always misremember it was like a Mrs. Doubtfire situation where the two older ones knew for a while, and Gertie didn't
and then she finds out
for
later.
A little bit.
Yeah,
but they all know right away, all three of them, and I actually like that more because I like that all three of them are in it together.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree.
The mom comes in and says, "This isn't a room. This is an accident," because all the shit's all over the place.
Right.
And Elliott's like, "Well, I was reorganizing. The others are all in the closet." She's like, "I'm gonna take a shower. Can you guys watch Gertie?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course."
Yeah.
Elliott, pretty good acting of like, yeah, it's fine. He shuts the door, and Elliott does the good frustration of like, oh my god, like all of this is happening. He goes in the closet then, and he tells Mike he's gonna keep E.T. And Gertie, like a little kid would, is like, "What is he? Is he a boy or a girl? Was he wearing clothes?" And the kids all look astonished about it.
Right.
When Elliott tells Gertie that you can't tell mom,
right,
and it's because only little kids can see him, Gertie, Drew Barrymore, improvised the "Gimme a break." So that one was
really
all Drew.
Funny, and I loved it. She is some
They
sass. It's great.
They threaten to break her doll if she tells, and E.T. is just looking on and observing.
Yeah, like their dynamic, I think.
It almost feels like he could see his own family, maybe.
That's what I was wondering. Like, is he seeing, oh, this is their family. This is family.
This is how humans are.
Right.
Yeah. And they both promise not to tell. Now that he's comfortable with all of them, he stretches his neck. I think that is what he's symbolizing there, is he's making his neck longer. He's not like crunching down.
It's like a turtle coming out of its shell.
Yeah.
Stretches its neck out.
That's exactly what I think it is. The men are putting it together now, though.
The men.
Because they're up on the hill. Well, because we don't know who they are yet.
Right.
And they see the town below, the forest. Every once in a while, it just cuts back so that you can see that, like, they're putting it together. They're trying to figure out that, because they know that now one of them is left, because
so
he made
must have gone this way.
Pile of Reese's Pieces, but if he needed to get the pile of Reese's Pieces from somebody.
Right.
So now it's, okay, where would he have gotten these? And now they're like, oh, maybe he went down into this neighborhood, to this suburb. I also like the fact that we never leave the suburb, come to think of it. It's a very contained story.
Right. It's all in this same location.
We stay at this house.
Right.
Yeah. Gertie is taking a wagon of stuff into Elliott's room. And she tells the mom that she's going to go play in Elliott's room. And the mom says, "Don't let them torture you," I think. Gertie's response is, "I won't marry." She uses her real name, or like her first name instead of the mom's name.
It's very silly.
Again, though, it's a nice dynamic because it means the mom's reaction is like, "You're going to go play in Elliott's room."
Like, all right, it's fine.
"Oh, okay. Don't let them torture you." Like, because they play with each other.
Right. They actually hang out. It's like
that means
really
that they
nice.
let Gertie hang out with them. Yeah.
Yes.
And that means that Mike hangs out with them, too.
Yes.
Like, it paints a picture of these siblings that... Not all siblings are like this. You and I were like this.
Right. So it feels... we can feel for this, especially. Because of, like, how close they are. And they're, like, very close-knit, nice, like, actually care about one another.
Because, I mean, some people think that it's weird that, like, the adult brother and sister can still...
hang out and talk.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who hate their siblings, and it's just like, oh, okay, like, that's weird.
Yeah. But
Which
again,
is fine.
I
Like,
think
you
because,
might have that too. You guys
yeah,
might be close
your
like us.
sibling
You
might
might
suck.
hate your siblings. It's it's fair.
Yeah, they might be a shithead. I think
true.
your brother's an asshole. But seeing this dynamic, which we can relate to a lot more, you could feel the characters more because we relate to them probably.
Right.
She takes a dying plant in with her to give to E.T.
Yeah, I think she
like
was just
hands
giving
it
him
to
like a flower. Like, here's a present.
Yeah, I think it was like, here's a present.
Yeah. That's another Men in Black thing. The kid gives the alien the flower.
That's true. That's right.
Hmm.
Well, Steven Spielberg did produce that movie.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. There you go.
So Gertie brings Harvey in with.
Yes, Harvey goes
And
gets
Harvey's
to meet.
fine once he gets in.
Do you think he's just like sitting there protecting Gertie?
Who, Harvey?
Yeah.
No, Harvey wants to just know what this thing is.
He just wants to be there to see.
I read in the wiki that E.T. is telekinetically pacifying Harvey, and I was like, I don't think
like
that's
that.
the case. I think Harvey is just getting
It's just an animal.
used to this
He didn't know what it
alien.
was, smelled it. It's like,
Yeah.
you're fine.
Yeah, they're all fine with it.
Then he would be doing it to
They're
everybody, to be honest.
Yeah. E.T.'s got a spread in front of him of fruits and vegetables and stuff that he's just
great.
eating
Oh.
because he's hungry.
I take it too. Eating a watermelon? Heck yes.
That crunching sound always made me think like that it tasted good, like the way that E.T. crunches.
Oh yeah, sure. Got a good crunch, and you're expecting it to be delicious.
They're trying to figure out what he is. They're asking, is he a bald monkey? And they're like, a bald monkey?
Well, he's got long
And Gertie
arms.
says-
They do drag, you know.
Yeah, well, I think that's why, because it's like, he's kind of got that stature.
Right.
Gertie says, is he a pig? He sure eats like one.
It's great.
It looks like Gertie brought some Play-Doh to play with, because she's talking about how they can
Yes.
make stuff. She's telling E.T. that they could make things.
Right. She's very
Which
crafty,
and I think
very creative. Love that.
I think E.T. ends up using the balls
He does.
to do what he does in a minute.
Because I thought he was going to use the fruits, but he uses the balls.
Another improv from Drew here, because she goes, I don't like his feet. That was not in the script.
It's fair, you know. Sometimes you just don't like feet.
They open up to the solar system page and they say, we're here on Earth. And he points out to the window again. And then he's like, all right, maybe I can explain this, because like, here's their solar system. Let me show them my solar system.
Which means he's in a
So-
completely different galaxy.
Yeah, I think that was the idea. Because, like, he lifts up, like, he makes a few balls, and then he, like,
Right.
lifts them up. And I think it's supposed to be, like, here's my solar system.
Right. And he does this telepathically. He can lift things
Telekinetically, yeah.
telekinetically. I knew I was going to get that wrong. He lifted
know,
them up telekinetically.
Storm. Cyclops, get in here.
Oh, no.
I sense something in Cerebro. Potentially a new mutant. Some sort of telekinetic ability. You need to get there now. I've read your minds, Wreck, and I've made a terrible mistake. We'll let you back to California.
Home. Ow.
Are you part of the show? Oh, he also has healing power. Wolverine! Logan, get in here. This one might be one of yours. I'll give you an option, Zrek. You can either stay here and become an X-Man, or you can go back to your
You
little
can
green
learn.
planet.
That's my school.
Would enjoy having E.T. on the X-Men.
Oh my god.
Internet,
He'd be
get
like-
on that, too.
He'd be like his second. He'd have E.T.
He's
always
running
with
with
him. Always with the professor.
He's just as effective as Gene.
Absolutely.
So the balls of Play-Doh go up in the air,
They spin.
and they start spinning. Maybe he's part of an empire. Maybe they have, like, several planets part of it. This is part of the E.T. Empire.
Yeah.
Elliott shrieks, but isn't sure why. He says something scary. I think it's because E.T. realizes that the government's after him. It's got to be why, right?
I have no idea.
This was one of those where I couldn't quite tell why he shrieked, but I think that might be why.
Well, then why does he go stare at the light bulb?
I think he's staring at the light bulb, like, out the window.
Oh, he's staring past
Like,
it.
I think he's
Okay.
going past it.
That's fair. I always thought he was just staring at this light bulb, and I'm just like, dude, your eyes are gonna hurt. You shouldn't be doing that.
He goes out back, and the swing is swinging, You hear keys jangling, so I think the guy was out there.
Okay, I see. Not looking in, though, because then he would know.
No. But I think he was, like, in the backyard or
Sure.
something.
Nearby.
E.T. is in the closet, so he's made, like, he gets the little fort, so he's sleeping in the closet.
That's fair.
He's reading a book about the ABCs. I think he'd have to hear it, though, to put it together. He can, like, read this stuff and, like, know, like, dog, but he needs to hear somebody say dog to, like, know how to say it with, like, a D.
Right, to actually try to verbalize it.
E.T. brings the plant back to life.
Yeah.
While he's sitting there.
You know what? Okay.
With his botanist powers.
I also misremembered this. He just looks at it and it comes back to life. I always thought he shoved his finger into the plant and it came back to life. Mm-hmm. And I was so confused. I was like, no, that's not how that worked.
The same way that he, like, is connected to Elliott, I think he connects himself to the plant.
Totally does. He totally does. But I completely misremembered this and thought he put his finger into the pot to bring it back to life.
I could definitely see you doing that, for sure.
Because I always thought, like, his finger warmed it, you know, type of thing, and it, like, brought it back. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of something else that happens in...
He's kind of Superman in a way.
He kind of is.
Because he's got all these powers on Earth.
Right.
We don't know what he can do not on Earth.
That's right.
And Elliott's like, I mean, he's smart. And Michael's like, well, maybe he's not. Maybe he's like a worker bee. He only knows how to push buttons or something. Like, we don't know. And Elliott's like, no, he's smart. At the bus stop, they ask him if the goblin came back. And Elliott's like, he did. And he's not a goblin. He's a spaceman.
And Michael's like, shut up. Like, what is wrong with you?
Michael's
Why are you
like,
telling people?
Yeah, they're like, oh, that means he's an extraterrestrial from Uranus and all that stuff.
Yes, haha.
The one girl tries to say hi to him.
Yes.
Is it the one that he kisses later?
Oh, I think it is.
Could not tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the blonde girl that he kisses later. But what's with the kid with the headphones?
It's like Back to the Future. You know, all of the kids needed like a feature so that you recognized them. Like the one's got the glasses on and the one's got the headphones. That's just how it was.
They're just
even Stranger Things does that.
It looks like headphones you'd wear on like a helicopter. They're huge.
Well, 1982 radio headphones, Rachel.
Oh, they're radio headphones. You know what? You're right. That's exactly what they are.
It's not connected to Bluetooth.
I didn't realize that. Well, I thought maybe they'd have a string, you know, plugged into something.
I brought you Bluetooth.
Like
I bring you love. I figured this was the first scene where you thought Elliott was annoying. Because I will say, I didn't find him annoying as much as little kids screaming a lot.
Oh, yeah, little kids screaming annoying.
And he screams a lot.
No, you're not
wrong.
Movie. You're not wrong. This might be where I started kind of thinking he's a little annoying, but it's mostly at a certain point where I'm just like, stop. Just stop.
Okay, you'll have to bring it up when we get there.
Stop.
Mike sits on the bus, and I think he's just thinking about what he's
like, what are we gonna do?
Now, this is another like one of those things where it's like, okay, I feel for Mike because he feels the weariness.
Well, he's also like the man of
what
the
the hell do
house.
we do now?
Yeah.
Like what do we do? We have an alien in our house.
Right.
There's chaos going all around him.
Oh my god, it's awful. I would hate being on that bus. Oh, for the love of God.
Gertie is staring up the stairs before they leave, and the mom thinks she hears something. That was the start of a horror movie.
Oh, yes.
I expected E.T. to walk down the stairs doing a backwards crab walk for a second.
You know. I think that would just be him falling down the stairs at that point.
So she thinks she hears something. So she goes upstairs. She goes in the closet, and it pans. And this is also a famous little scene where it pans over, and E.T.'s pretending to be a stuffed animal.
Yes. He's very good at hiding.
And
I don't know. If I heard something like that, if the dog isn't immediately next to me, I probably would have just expected it to be the dog, and then probably wouldn't have checked, or at least yelled to him to be like, knock it off, and then just leave because you're in the like. Yeah. But she like goes and checks. Like, did she think the kids stayed, or I don't know.
The other adult here is the teacher, who you never again see above their waist. Elliott is drawing E.T.
I thought this was kind of funny. He's drawing it, and the teacher doesn't, like, make a fuss about it. He just turns it over,
just turns it over.
Don't be drawing. Like listen.
Ready.
Like, you're supposed to be listening.
They're getting ready to dissect frogs, which I know this was a thing. We dissected frogs that were already dead when I was in high school. I don't know if you did that.
Yeah, they just brought them. They smelled like formaldehyde.
Yeah,
we
were
didn't have
dead.
to do
And
any of this.
This
Is
like
ridiculous.
having to chloroform the
This is
frog. I was like,
horrendous.
what the fuck?
I'm so glad
It seemed
times
so
have changed.
bizarre. Yeah, I kind of wonder, folks at home that have been in high school in the past 10 years, or are there now, or are there in the future, first of all, get your parents' permission to listen to Shelf Life. Do you still dissect animals?
Probably. Why not?
I don't know, it just does not seem like something that I would see
In biology, you're learning
still
about
being done.
about different body parts and stuff.
He's like in 5th grade, though.
Yeah, it's a little young for it. I would think high school. I would think Michael would be doing it.
Meanwhile, we get a short film that I thoroughly enjoyed, which was E.T.'s Day Off.
Yes. That's exactly how I would call this.
He's wearing a robe for some reason.
Yep. He leaves the room, pets the dog.
Leaves the room. Harvey growls at him at first, and then the two just kind of greet each other.
Right.
Harvey's just super curious. He just wants to know what the
absolutely.
hell E.T.'s doing in his house.
Right.
E.T. sniffs out the food. First, he tries potato salad.
Which,
And decides he does not like it. He throws it at the ground for Harvey to eat.
right. Don't put it back in the fridge, E.T. Just throw it. you know.
Well, E.T. doesn't know. Can you let a dog eat potato salad?
I would say no. There's
I
probably
would think
too
that
much
would be
stuff
pretty
in
bad
there.
for him.
There's too
Yeah.
much stuff in there.
You're having dog diarrhea all around that house
Oh,
at
absolutely.
the very least.
Absolutely.
Maybe they have a doggy door that Harvey is allowed to,
I
like he can get
bet.
out back.
Yeah. In this horror movie, E.T. would have been like throwing his hands through that doggy door and stuff too. It would have been creepy.
We find out that E.T. has a penchant for booze, though, as he opens
Seriously?
up. I don't know how he figures out how to open up a can. And
I guess you just pop the
but-
top, you know, you don't really think about it.
But that's a learned trait. I guess you'd be like, oh, maybe I'm supposed to do something with the
Like,
top
what
of
does
but-
this do? And then, like,
Oh,
plays
you know
with
what
it.
though? You know what though? He did have a Coke with Elliott.
Yes.
So
So
he
it
probably
was a
saw
learned
Elliott do it.
behavior. So he's probably thought this was a Coke. But, I mean, the
But
second he
it's-
tastes it, how does he not just spit it out?
As a kid, I was going into the fridge to grab a can of Sprite.
Yes.
Did not pay attention to what I was grabbing and just grabbed it, opened it up, and took a sip of it. And it was beer, and I was like, oh my god, and like spit it all out.
Yeah, but instead, E.T.'s just like, huh? And then keep, like,
E.T.
chugs
chugs this shit. It gets Elliott drunk and he burps. That was one of the things Melissa Matheson said she wanted to do. She was like hell-bent on making a scene where the alien gets drunk and gets the boy drunk because
Yes.
of it. E.T. waddling around drunk is wonderful.
He just runs into things. He falls over.
Him face planting, that is some top-notch humor. That might be
Dog's
one
still
of the
eating
funniest
potato
things.
salad and
E.T. could just be the replacement dad. He's drunk off his ass, he's watching TV.
it's true. He has another one too.
Yeah, so E.T. goes and gets another beer to watch TV. He starts playing with the speak and spell while he's
And-
sitting there watching TV. People probably don't know what a speak and spell is. I don't know what a
that's
speak and spell
true.
is. I think
No,
Did Grandma
I played
have
with
one?
Mom's speak and spell when she was a kid. I played with hers when I was
that's
a
what
kid.
I was saying. I think Grandma had a
Yes.
speak and spell
Yes,
at her house.
right.
But I don't remember exactly. Like it would just ask you to spell words, right?
I don't know if there was like a game part where it would tell you to spell the word, but you could spell stuff and then it would spell it with you. Like it would say the letters you chose and then it would say the thing afterwards. So you could have it like say words, I think, right? I want to say it would say the word after you spelled it.
Oh, maybe that's right. I don't know. I don't remember playing with one.
But it does like speak out the letters at least, and you can spell stuff on the little screen.
So he's doing that. He finds the remote. He freaks out from a Tom and Jerry cartoon, and he throws the beer at the TV.
Yes.
He likes this 50s B movie with aliens in it, so he starts
He
watching
sees the
that.
UFO, yeah. Elliott's flirting with the other girl. He's like making drunk eyes at her like, hey.
E.T. has a hangover
Yes.
now.
An instant hangover.
He sees on the counter, though, a Buck Rogers cartoon, and he gets an idea about using the phone from a commercial to call someone, and he's putting things together here to be able to communicate back to his people.
Right, because they're all
come get him.
like in the commercial, they're all communicating through the phones, and he's like, "Huh, is that what that's for?"
My old man-ness was starting to peek out here,
Uh-oh.
Rachel, because I was like, "Shut the goddamn refrigerator! You are going to..."
Yeah, you're gonna ruin all that food. The fridge is gonna be like running extra power because it's just like, oof, why is it so warm in here?
I think he feels what E.T. is feeling here because he says, I could save him, and I think
Yes.
E.T. is feeling or thinking
Like,
like,
help,
I can be saved, yeah.
The help and the
Because
save
he knows
and
he's
all
going to
of
get
that.
sick. I think he realizes he's getting sick being
From not being home.
too far away.
Right.
Yeah. But Elliott uses this opportunity or this feeling, and he freaks out. He starts dumping the frogs out
Oh my god.
to save them.
The
Other
absolute
kids follow
tantrum.
suit. And
Yes.
suddenly there's like 100 frogs in this room.
Yes. Why were there so many frogs all of a sudden? Like, did he find all of, like, was there a terrarium for, like, the rest of the classes? Because there's, like, gotta be, like, only 20 kids in this room, but there's, like, 100 frogs.
Yeah, it multiplies quite a bit. Obviously, it's just supposed to be to fill out, like, the classroom that now there's this chaos because all these, like, frogs are around.
Oh my
and
God.
maybe it's just supposed to be a little more fairy tale, like that
A
all
bit
these
more
frogs
chaotic.
are suddenly there. Because, like, yeah, there should only be, like, 20 frogs, but whatever.
Yes.
Meanwhile, E.T. is pulling apart the Speak and Spell, and he's watching an old John Wayne movie, The Quiet Man. I love the way that E.T. looks up while he's tinkering. He's, like, tinkering, and he looks up like a grandma would while she's knitting. Like, he
Yes.
looks up like...
Yeah, he's just, like,
Watching
watching
my
TV
stories.
and, like,
Yeah.
playing with his, like, stuff. He's like an engineer over
It's like-
here, just, like...
Yeah, it's such, like, a perfect, like, I'm watching my stories while I doodle over here.
Yes.
There's a part in the movie where John Wayne, like, flips the girl, they do, like, a twirl back,
Yes.
and they kiss, and Elliott does the same thing to that girl.
Yes. That he's been giving goo-goo eyes at.
Yeah, there's like an established bully kid
Right.
in the class. I don't know if he falls or he gets in position
I feel like
for
he
Elliott.
tripped. I know, I feel like he tripped. Elliott shoves him, pushes him down even more.
'Cause
and
this girl's
stands
got
on
a-
him. Yeah, she's
This
tall.
girl's got some height on her.
Well, yeah,
on him.
because of, like, their age. Elliott hasn't
Yeah.
gotten his growth spurt yet.
Some of us never do.
It's fair.
But Elliott then kisses this girl. This was in the documentary, and you can tell Henry Thomas is nervous as shit and trying to hide it because he doesn't want to kiss this
Oh.
girl. And he's, like, nervous to kiss this girl.
Yeah.
Steven's trying to toughen him up a little bit and be like,
Sure.
you got this, you're fine.
Yeah, it's like, it's no big deal.
This scene's a bit goofy.
Oh my
This whole
god,
thing
it
is a
goes
little
on
bit
for a
goofy.
while. It's silly. They start throwing the frogs out the window, and all I kept thinking was, please be on the first story. And then...
I think they are because
No,
the
I'm pretty
teacher like
sure they
drags
are.
Elliott away, and the girl, you can tell the girl was intrigued by the kiss because she
Oh, yeah,
turns
she's like,
her
"Oh."
foot.
Yeah. The little pop the foot moment. Yeah.
At the same time, at home, E.T. is taking a pile of stuff with him to Elliott's room.
And there's just beer cans everywhere.
Yeah, there's beer cans everywhere. There's just stuff all over the place because it's E.T.'s day off, man. He's like got the run of the house. Like, woman, I'm not cleaning the damn house. I work all week.
I have been engineering.
This is my day off.
He had
I
his
got to watch
hobbies
The
out.
Quiet Man. I'm tinkering. Harvey's excited that Mary is home.
Yes.
Meanwhile, E.T.'s just wandering around, and
Oh
he's like,
my
"Oh
God.
shit!"
She
'Cause
hits
he's
him with the
like-
fridge, and he falls
Okay,
over.
no. This also one of the, this is the greatest thing.
Here he is.
Where's who?
Man from the movie, but I think you killed him already.
I mean, just as soon as I unload this stuff, okay?
I might have clapped at that moment,
Oh, it
Rachel,
was
'cause
great.
that was so good.
Good job, Drew.
E.T.'s just wandering around, and the mom, of course, I think it's supposed to be that fairy tale-ness again of when Elliott was like, only kids can see him. So, like, this is the joking part of that, where it's like, the mom is so busy
She's busy.
being a mom.
She kind of just feels like, yeah, there's going to be this little thing walking around, and there's a dog.
and she thinks Reese is
and-
talking about, like, an imaginary
Imaginary
friend or
friend.
something.
Absolutely.
Yes. He even swipes a can from her. Well, like, she's taking groceries
Yes.
out, and he even, like, takes
He like
a can
swipes.
because
He
she
swipes
knows he needs
something
it.
from her, like food or like some cans. Yeah.
Yeah, and she just picks it up and doesn't think anything of it. It's just
Well, I
like,
think she's questioning it a little bit.
but she's got other stuff to do, so she
Oh,
doesn't.
yeah.
It just slips her mind. That whole little bit is funny. And then Gertie is watching Sesame Street is on. So,
Yes.
and they're going over the letter B.
Yes.
So
For
Gertie's doing
basket.
it.
Bandit.
Yeah.
Ball. B.
And then as
Bongos.
Gertie says B, E.T. lifts his head over
The TV.
the TV, I guess just because he wants to have fun with Gertie. I think he's trying to play with Gertie.
I think so, and he's also like repeating because he was reading that book too. So he like the ABCs.
Right. And he goes B,
B.
and lowers his head, and then she goes, "Did you just say B?" Like
I loved that.
God, for being 7 years old, Drew Barrymore is so good.
Oh my god,
at
she's
this.
fantastic.
Like, she's precocious.
Oh my god.
And I feel like in real life she was precocious. She had to
she
have been
must
to
have
like pull this
been.
off. So she says, "Good, good, be good."
Yes.
And E.T. going, "Okay, be good." So he
Be
repeats it.
Good.
Yes. So he says, "Be good." It's super 1980s here
oh my gosh.
because
Great.
she gets a call that Elliott is in trouble, and she's like, "That doesn't sound like Elliott, but okay, I'll
Right.
go pick him up." And she's like, "Hey, 7-year-old daughter,
Yes.
you just stay here.
Right.
I'm gonna go pick up your brother.
Yes.
You'll be fine.
Yeah,
you
she'll
got
be
the
fine.
dog here. You got
Latchkey
E.T.
kids,
E.T.
right?
Hey, E.T. Can you watch Gertie for like 10 minutes? Thanks."
You and Harvey gotta watch Gertie. But Gertie says, she goes to Mom, "Mom, he can talk." And she goes, "Yeah, it can talk," because she thinks she's talking about the TV.
I thought she thought she was talking about Elliott.
Oh, no, I think she was like, "Yeah, the TV's talking." Yes, like, you're watching Sesame Street, it's talking to you. I get it.
E.T. comes around the TV. A little background thing, the Sesame Street Rover and I think Big Bird are talking about a spaceman or a spaceship
Are
or
they
something.
really?
So they found a
Oh my
specific...
God,
yeah.
that's
So
funny.
they specifically went and found like an episode or to use where they were talking about outer space. He goes to the phone and she
Yes.
goes, "It's a phone."
Phone.
And E.T. repeats, "Phone, phone." And Gertie's like, "You want to call somebody?"
She just seems like Drew Barrymore when she says that to me. Like, she's just, "Do you want to call somebody?" I'm like, that's just Drew Barrymore. Like, she's like, she's just the tiny version. I love her.
Gertie tells him to be good and stay as Elliott comes in.
Yes.
And she's got him. So this is the next scene. So she's got him hidden in their shared closet because they went and played and she
Right.
dressed him up with like all these women clothings. He looks like
Yeah, they're playing dress up.
E.T. does. Looks like an old woman that has spent way too much time in the sun.
Way too much sun. She is a raisin. Here is Raisin
Yeah,
E.T.
she's Raisin.
Old lady Raisin E.T. It's the funniest thing.
E.T., by the way, this face is supposed to be based off of Pug and Carl Sandburg and Albert Einstein. Like, that's why the eyes have, like, the droops. That's the idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Elliot walks in and is like, "What did you do to him?" And E.T.'s kind of like,
He thought it was funny.
Yeah. So then he starts going like, Elliot.
Elliot.
And Elliot goes, "What?" And then he's like, "Wait a minute, you just said my name." So then he realizes that E.T. can now talk.
Drew
And
Barrymore.
E.T. starts going...
But Gertie goes,
Yeah,
yeah, I taught him to talk. You can talk now. I taught him.
Yeah.
I
I like how
love her.
she takes credit for that. yeah.
Yes.
And E.T. starts going, E.T., because they're like, "Can you say E.T.? Like, that's your
Right.
name."
Yes. And Elliot's laughing and still kind of drunk. A little tipsy.
E.T.'s trying to show Elliot the comic, the Buck Rogers
Right.
comic. He points to the closet and he goes, "Home." And they're like, "Yeah, that's your home." And then he waddles over to the window and he goes, "Home." And then they're like, "Phone." So then they're trying to figure it out.
Right. E.T. phone
And E.T.
home.
goes, "E.T." But E.T. at first says, "E.T. home phone."
Yes.
E.T. home phone.
E.T. phone home. E.T. phone home. E.T. phone home. He wants to call somebody.
What's all this shit?
E.T.
Phone home. My God, he's talking now. home.
E.T. phone home?
E.T. phone home.
As a little kid, when you are at somebody's house, you gotta call a house home to get that ride to pick you up.
That's right.
E.T.'s like, I need to get my ride. I gotta call them to tell them to come pick me up.
Right.
You can come pick me up in a half an hour, Bob. I'm fine, but I have a feeling that I'm gonna get sick, so you need to come pick me up. One of the most iconic scenes in cinema history, probably, when you're considering it's the 4th highest grossing movie of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like people that haven't even watched this movie know E.T. phone home.
I would
think
that. So. Ouch. And E.T. phone home. Mm-hmm. And all of that. Yeah, absolutely.
Mike is shocked that he's talking.
Right.
He looks and sounds a little worse off, I guess. But it's hard to tell.
Is he supposed to? I think he just sounded kind of like, yes, finally you understand. He seemed kind of like, okay. Yes,
I think you're supposed to hear it a little bit more labored breathing, or a little bit more like like he's clearing his throat a little bit more.
I do remember hearing a cough. Is this when the cough happened, or was that later?
He coughs on Halloween.
Okay.
When he's in the ghost outfit, he coughs for sure.
Yeah. Because Elliott and him start coughing at points, and I'm just like, okay, we're getting sick now.
A van is going down the street, picking up conversations in a very illegal way before the Patriot Act ever existed. If the NSA is listening to us record this podcast, first of all, thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. But this was the old way of them having to do this, where they like using this technology that may or may not have actually ever existed, and like listening into conversations as they go down the street.
Yes.
The boys are in the garage looking for stuff to help E.T. make a radar thing to
anything
try to
just like
do it.
Extra, yeah.
This is where Mike says he doesn't look too good. That's why I brought up like I guess maybe he doesn't. Yeah, like
does he look pallid or like peaked, or am I missing something?
Yeah,
I feel like he didn't look different to me.
Neither did I, and I couldn't tell if I just wasn't. I don't have the 4K of this. I just have the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they made specifically like. He was a little sweaty, but I feel like he's always a little sweaty.
Sure. He had so many beers. He was just hungover. Like, yeah. Yeah, he looks a little worse for wear because he's hungover now. He had beers. Like, how is that affecting his alien system?
Mike thinks he may be getting sick, but Elliott doesn't want to hear it. They find their dad's shirt.
Yes.
In the workbench, and they start reminiscing about stuff that their dad did, and they sniff the shirt, and it smells like Old Spice. So you get that little connection there of divorced kid thing that Spielberg wanted to do.
And Elliott is starting to use we a lot more.
Yes, good point.
Yes,
because Michael is like, why do you keep saying we? Like
we're talking about him, I think not Elliott, we.
And Elliott gets defensive about it because I think Elliott doesn't want to. I think he doesn't want to. Yeah. Or he doesn't quite understand the connection either.
I
so
feel
maybe
like
he doesn't.
I kind of think it's both. I think it's one of those things where he doesn't really understand what's happening, but it's his thing with E.T. He gets to have something, and this is his.
Mm-hmm. I think too that
middle child syndrome.
Well, and I think that Michael also picked up on it. So like. I think Michael has figured it out even before E.T. figured it out.
I think so.
Or Elliott figured it out.
Sure.
Elliott, by the way, first letter is E, last letter is T.
Oh,
I think that's strategic.
At that.
One thing that we haven't mentioned, and we probably should mention this, is that the score throughout this entire movie, done by John Williams.
Beautiful.
This is one of his finest works.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Score,
it's great.
Even in this scene of just the ominousness of him in the van, of Keyes being in the van listening to them, comes through. I'll talk a little bit more about the score when we get to the final scene, because that's where it truly comes through. But the music in this movie helps it in untold ways. It's got to be one of those things that people that are learning how to do film have to learn or study,
right?
As to why music is so important to affecting emotion. Because it does a lot of the heavy lifting in this movie. Mary is reading Peter Pan to Gertie. E.T. opens the blinds so he can listen, which was, I thought, cute. He wants to be a part of this family. Like,
I think he
at this point, he's like,
he likes the family.
While I'm stuck here, I just want to be a part of this family and enjoy them telling stories to each other and things.
Peter Pan was also a well-placed like story that they chose too. The Lost Boys.
the Lost Boys. They're doing the scene where Tinkerbell dies, and you have
Yeah, and
to
the
believe in
clapping your
him, so she'll
hands.
wake back up. So that's
Right.
foreshadowing E.T.'s death.
Absolutely.
Elliot comes in and shuts the blinds and shows E.T. all the stuff they got from the garage. One of the things is a saw blade,
Oh,
which
good
Elliot
lord.
immediately cuts his hand. Be happy that all you did was cut your finger on
Right?
this thing,
He's
Elliot.
gonna cut it off.
And he says, ouch. So then E.T. says, ouch, and lifts his finger, his lit finger.
This is
his
it.
finger lights
Now
up.
it's lit.
Yes.
And touches
Rachel,
his
how do you
finger.
describe this? Like, what is
Okay.
it lit? Like, what?
It's like, I would say it's like the butt of a dragon, or like, not a dragonfly. It's like the butt of a lightning bug. You know, like a
Okay.
firefly, because of the way it, like, just the tip kind of all of a sudden, like, glows, like a light bulb went on underneath it. That's what happens, I would say.
Okay.
And it's like a yellow glow. Does that make sense? Do you think that makes sense?
Yes,
Okay.
I think so. I think that is a good way to describe it. It's a bioluminescence underneath his skin.
Right.
And according to the ET ride, a lot of bioluminescence on the green
fair.
planet.
Right, yes. Their skin must be kind of thin, because, like, you can see the heart when it glows.
Right, because you can see the organs when it glows.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so, like, when those pieces, like, glow, it glows, like, so you can see it through the skin.
E.T. uses his healing powers to heal the finger. And then he turns around and just opens the blinds back up to listen to the Peter Pan novel again.
Yep. And then they both sit together and just, like, listen.
I enjoy a lot of these scenes where E.T. is just observing humans.
Yeah.
It's touching,
Right.
in a way. It really is. Meanwhile, there's another van outside as they've zeroed in on the house. So they've fucking figured it out now. They know that E.T. is in this house.
Right.
E.T.'s starting to put something together. His breathing is more strained. Michael is saying, like, listen to him breathe. He's
Something's
sick.
wrong. Yeah.
And you kind of feel that the flower's wilting a bit is how you can is the visual
Oh,
representation.
Good point. That's a good point.
He levitates some of the stuff up in a very, very 80s visual effects way.
Right.
Where it's like, it looks like a piece of paper is in front of the screen to make it look like it's levitating. But it works fine.
Right.
Especially when E.T. is all practical. Okay, I'm going to forgive them making the speak and spell float in the air for a few seconds.
That's fine.
It's Halloween. We are watching Elliot put on his makeup.
A lot of makeup.
And yeah, he went too far with this when he's not really doing. I guess they have to.
He looks like a ghoul. And he's not being
I thought he was a ghoul too. The mom says he was a hunchback. I
Hunchback?
thought he was going as like a ghoul.
I thought he was a ghoul. I was like, okay. What?
Yeah, he could have went simpler because you're faking this.
Yeah.
So just do something simple. Gertie's only pretending to go as a cowgirl because she's going to be a ghost.
Yes.
There's a whole plan here to have Gertie wait at the top of the hill with Elliot's bike, and they're going to smuggle E.T. out by pretending to be Gertie,
Yes.
which is very funny.
Right. Oh my god. Did you hear the conversation, though, between Michael and Mom?
Yeah, the rest of the guys are all going as terrorists, and the mom won't let them go. A 1980s terrorist means that it's like Arab terrorists, for sure.
Oh my god. Instead, he's got, like, a bowler hat on with cargo pants and a butcher knife.
He's
like
like a bum with a
mobster?
knife in his head.
Oh, I guess.
No, I thought he was like a bum riding the rails because he's got like a
maybe.
top hat on.
But he's like a dead bum. I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
So he's
It's
a
just,
hobo.
They just were like a hobo.
Okay.
They're all like, "Are we ready?" And E.T. goes, "Ready." They throw the ghost costume on him and some big clown shoes.
Yes.
The mom, so Dee Wallace, I guess, trying to show that she's, hot to trot here.
Oh my
is in
god.
this
Well, she must have been
sexy
going to a
cat
party,
outfit.
right?
I don't think so.
No,
I
she's
think
just hanging out at
dressed
home.
up to give out candy.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know what? Why not? Why not? She's a cat, or she's like a cheetah.
And she's a recently divorcee.
That's also true. Maybe she's looking for a single dad or something.
She's waiting for She's waiting for a daddy to come up to the door.
Ew, don't say it like that. She reminded me of the mom from Matilda with this outfit. Do you not?
Okay, it took me
with
a second.
the curly
I got
hair
there.
and like the whole like drama like outfit and everything.
Yeah.
She just reminded me of Matilda's mom.
Matilda's biological mom. That's where it took me a second because I was
Miss
like,
Honey
Miss
doesn't take her until the
Gertrude or
end.
whatever?
Miss Honey,
yeah.
how dare you? Miss
I don't know
Trunchbull
their
is
names.
the mean one.
Okay. Whatever else.
I loved Matilda.
I know you did. I'm not. Is that on the list? Do we have to do Matilda?
Yeah, I think we could.
Okay. All right.
It's another one of those like
I'll allow it.
kids movies where it's like having to deal with trauma and shit as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, she comes in with this cat outfit on.
The kids look terrified.
I think the kids are like, is mom really wearing this outfit? Because
I
think
know.
it's like
I think it's more
I'm a
so, oh my
newly
god, she's gonna
divorced
know,
lady.
she's gonna know, she's gonna know. That's what I think they were doing.
Maybe it's a little column A, a little column B. I think E.T.'s like, oh, look at this.
Oh,
Because he does
really?
look up at her. Later, no, but later on, when they leave and he looks out we get the E.T. point of view, and he looks out and he's kind of like, oh, mom dressed up too.
Yeah, but I think I think that's like the fun part, yes. Grabs the camera.
Grabs the camera. E.T. tries to fix Mike's fake wound,
He goes,
which is
ow.
funny. He's going, ow, it's
Fake, knock it off.
It's fake. It's fake. She gets out the Polaroid and takes a picture of them. So at least they have that. Because at least they have a picture with E.T.
Oh, that's true. They have a picture with E.T. That's cute.
Yeah. She goes, they all look so great. And Elliott and Mike go, thank you. So that E.T. goes, thank you.
You look great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's perfect.
It is. It really is. They took the dog, too. All 4 of them are gone.
Yeah, they took the dog, too. I don't know why they took the dog, too.
It's a hobo
but
dog. It's okay. He had a bandana
I guess
on.
it's like, we'll take you for like a walk with us, Harvey. Like, why not?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we have to mention, now that E.T. is talking,
Yes.
who the voice of E.T. is.
Okay.
Very much as was the style at the time, when you want to make kind of a creepier voice, you get an old lady that smokes 2 packs a day, and you apply it to your voice.
All right.
The voice is a combination of different sounds, but the main English-speaking voice is done by Pat Welsh.
Okay.
Pat Welsh is an old lady who smoked 2 packs a day and was paid like something like $400 or something ridiculous. Not. I hope she got some sort of residuals, or
I hope so.
Steven Spielberg did something nice for her. She didn't get paid much, but she did some of these lines just for the one guy that was doing like the sound mixing on it, and thought that her voice was like perfect for this like weird alien with alien sounding. Died of pneumonia at the age of 79 in 1995.
Aww.
When you smoke that much,
Yeah, your lungs are
You
gonna.
know.
They take it. They take the hit.
so they all go outside. E.T. falls over from the flash, which is funny. This is when he coughs.
Yeah, that's when I heard the cough.
Gertie's waiting at the top of the hill, and they take E.T. on a trip to get him to the woods. I thought that it was interesting that E.T. gets to try and figure out what Halloween is. Like, he has got to be like, what the hell is going on? You guys have a bunch of different creatures?
Around. Yeah, because then he sees Yoda. Yoda's walking by. He's like, what
He sees...
is that another alien
No,
like
no.
me?
He sees Yoda, and he starts going, home, home, home. Because as we find out from Phantom Menace, the ETs and the Yodas know each other.
Apparently.
So he's like, oh, wait. You can get me home.
Yes.
Like it's
Yoda.
I know him. I know
Yoda.
them. Yeah. So that, of course, is a joke that Steven put in the movie. That's why George put
That's funny.
Oh, we're gonna put some ETs here because it's calling back.
Right.
My great grandfather was on the council. He was a representative.
I forgot that they were right there in the council. In that awful scene.
We talked about it for 45 minutes.
Because it went on for 45 minutes.
They walk off into the sunset. It looks super Halloween 3 or Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's a Spielberg shot of like from
with,
Raiders
the sunset
of them
and like the warmth
with the sun setting. Yeah,
the silhouettes.
It's such a Steven Spielberg
it is
use of warm colors and stuff.
Truly.
They make the swap for Gertie with E.T. in the basket, and they take the bike into the woods with the machine. And as they go through, Elliott's like, okay, we're not going to be able to keep going this way. But E.T. is like, fuck it, I want to go home.
Yes.
And
But he knows, I feel like he also is like, wait, we're close. This is where we have to go. Let me get us there.
they're going to a bald spot in the woods where I think there's going to be there's no trees, so
Yeah.
that it'll be easier to project the machine.
I was wondering if it was the same spot that they landed before. And so he was like taking them there because he's like, well, this is where we landed before, so if I put it here, you know, then they know it was from me.
But it definitely is, because Elliott later says, like, we were in the bald spot. So, like, it's in a place where the trees aren't, you know, I think that was strategic.
Right.
E.T. takes control, starts levitating the bike and them, and then they're flying, and the score goes nuts.
Shot of them going over the moon.
Yeah, I think anyone that's watched
anything
knows about this shot of them flying over the moon.
Yes.
E.T., I think because he's not 100%, crashes the bike on landing. Meanwhile, the mom is waiting up for Elliott, but he doesn't come home. She sits worried on her 80s carpet stoop.
I think she's waiting for everybody to come home.
I think she's waiting for all three of them, yeah.
At first, and she's getting pissed.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I told you before the sunset. Like...
Yeah.
Why aren't you here yet? Like, where are you guys?
An hour after sunset. Yeah.
And then she's probably like, okay, I'll just wait a little bit longer. You know, it's fine. Mm-hmm. They're having fun. There's
another deleted scene where she picks up Gertie and Mike.
Yeah.
And she's like, where's Elliott? And they're like, but that got deleted. Because what she does is she leaves the house.
Yes.
To go find them. As she leaves the house, a clown car's worth of cars.
Oh my god.
Like, it was comical how many cars there were.
And how many men in suits just walk up the driveway at the same time. It's ridiculous. I would be one of the neighbors. I would be literally calling the police, going, there is a raid happening on my neighbor's house. I don't know what's going on. Like... And then I would try to find the mom and stop her and be like, somebody went in your house. Yes.
I think you'd be like, something's going on.
Oh, do you think they're having a party?
Taylor place or something.
Oh, I guess that's true. Maybe they just think it's a Halloween party and they're all just dressed in suits because this is ridiculous.
Well, because they all have briefcases.
Yes.
And what they're doing is scanning or doing something to, like, spectral trails.
Yeah,
like, I don't know what they're
doing.
Weird
vacuum thing.
They're kind of seeing if E.T.'s been there.
I thought they would be also like planting bugs and stuff there, but maybe it's too early for that kind of stuff.
I mean, they've got the van with that amplifies the conversations going on in the houses.
True.
So
yeah.
Now the men that are not sure about are in the house.
This was another spot, though, when she's, like, backing up the car when she just goes, Mexico. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, because I think in her head, she's going... I think she even says, like, wait till your father hears about this.
Yeah.
So then she's thinking in her head, like, that, you know, if that son of a bitch wouldn't have left, then we could have...
Well, none of this would have happened. He wouldn't have been gone.
Taken care of this.
Yes.
Yeah. Men get in the house because she left the garage open.
Oh my god.
What the fuck are you doing?
But you gotta remember the time. And they're just like, that's fine, whatever, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go grab the kids.
Alright.
Yeah, I bet.
Because I was gonna say, like, you know, it's the 80s, so we know about, like, break-ins and stuff, but
it's still not happening quite as often, you know? It's only the height. It's not even like, well, it's the height of serial killers, but they're not, like, shutting everything down yet, so it's like one of those things. Children are getting abducted.
Yeah, there's abductions. I mean, there's no one at the house.
You know.
But you could easily have robbed that house, Mary. Come on.
That's right.
Come on, E.T.'s mom.
I was gonna say, luckily, like, Harvey's not home, because, like, now these guys are just walking into the house, like, what do they have done to the dog?
Tranked him.
That's the problem. Horrible.
E.T. and Elliott wait for the signal to work. It's wind-powered, because E.T. is environmentally conscious.
That's right.
So, it starts working, to the point where Elliott shouts, "It's working!"
Obnoxious. But the speak and spell is doing the bloop thing.
Yeah, with like weird
his language.
symbols.
I think he
I don't know how
programmed
he
it to
did
do
that.
his language.
I mean, they're clearly more technologically advanced.
Of course.
So they made a spaceship. So it's Elliott's voice. That's the thing that
It's a
annoys
little
me.
piercing.
Yeah, with the screeching, because he just does so much of it in this last half of the
I mean,
movie.
he even he does it a lot in this last half, but even like his first line, "I'm ready to play now," like he is like screaming like that throughout the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, he does.
It's just a child.
Meanwhile,
thing.
a shot straight out of Halloween as the flashlights move around this house. It's some
Oh my
creepy
God.
imagery. They're like,
It's
again,
horrifying. These people are made
as a
home.
little kid,
Yes.
you could see this being scary because panning up with the flashlights on like dolls and stuff just to like be creepy.
Yes, and then these weirdos, like strangers, are in your home just like walking around doing their stuff. It's kind of scary.
Elliot tells E.T. because they're just kind of sitting there, and E.T. is patiently waiting
Right.
to see if they come back, and it's like, E.T., come on, they're not gonna. You gotta give them some time. They're not gonna
Yeah, he's
come
like,
right away.
we need to go home. Like, I need to go home.
Yeah. Like, it's like,
can't
let's
wait
go.
out
They'll
here.
come sooner or later. We'll come back in the morning or something.
Right.
And E.T. doesn't want to go in case they come. And he explains that he's sick because he points at his throat and he says, ouch. Elliot's trying to say, I can take care of you. You can stay with me. Like, just stay.
Right.
And E.T.'s like, no, ouch.
Yeah.
Like, I can't stay. I'm dying.
And I think at this point he is a lighter color from like his dark brown.
Yeah, he's probably lighter. Yeah.
He seems lighter at least.
He just keeps saying home.
And Elliot's
like,
getting
kid,
upset.
what-
Well, because Elliot wants him to
Yeah.
stay too. He's just like, look,
Yeah.
I mean, if they don't answer, no big deal. You get to stay with me. My house is your home now. Like, I'm your family. I think that's what he's kind of hoping for.
That's what he's hoping, yeah. And it's like, kid, what do you think is going to happen here? Like, what do you think is the end game?
Right.
So E.T. lifts up Elliot's chin and smiles back at him with tears in both their eyes because they can feel each other. And E.T. feels Elliot is
yeah,
upset
of
that he's
course.
going to go home. But you get that little touching moment. They got to drive to your friend's house to come pick you up. Like, you got to give them time. Like, you
Yes.
send the call in and it's like, yeah, Dad's getting the code on. He'll be there, in 15 minutes or whatever.
Sure.
They're light years away here.
Right.
E.T.
Yeah, obviously, because the further away they get, the sicker E.T. gets.
Yes, I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
In the morning, Elliot gets up coughing, and E.T. is gone. The machine stopped working because there isn't any wind.
Yeah, E.T.'s just gone.
Yeah, E.T.'s just gone. Mary got a cop to take a missing persons report. Even that character is only shown from the back and the waist.
That's true, yes.
They think maybe he ran away, and she explains, like, about the divorce and everything. Mike and Gertie are right there. But then as she's explaining this, they, like, turn and, like, Elliot's there, and
He's
they
like
all
behind
hug
the fridge. Because she's looking in the fridge,
Yeah.
I think, just like to do something.
It's like compulsively, to
Yes.
do something.
And then when she closes the fridge, Elliot's just standing there and he looks sick. And it's
Yep.
just like, okay.
Yep. Yeah. They all hug Elliot, who walks in and is burning hot, and he instructs Mike to go to the bald spot and find him.
You have to find him. Because he can feel, like, he feels
Yeah.
his sick.
Something's
like,
wrong.
Right.
Yeah. And Elliot, I think, knows he couldn't find E.T. because he was sick. He needed to get home to tell
He needed-
Mike
Right. He needed help.
to do it. Yeah. If they would have had cell phones, none of this would have happened.
True. I think that's actually probably true. E.T. would have just used the cell phone to call, and it would have been a lot faster.
I'll just figure out how to use this cell phone. I have a friend named the Doctor. He jury-rigged
Oh,
up this.
yeah, there you go.
Fantastic. Oh, an E.T. You have an E.T. I don't know what that turned into. Jim Hammond from Jurassic Park for a second.
Oh no, my
We
brain
made
went.
an E.T.
My brain went to like the Mad Hatter or the candy guy from Wreck-It Ralph. Like, have some candy, like that.
It's all the same shit. I can
It
only do so
is.
many voices, people. I'm not a professional.
I can't do
Mike
any, so
takes
you're ahead
off.
of me.
Mike takes off on a bike, and the feds follow him. And I
he
don't
knows
think
he's
Mike
being
realizes.
followed. No, he knows.
Okay, do you think he realizes
Yes,
it?
because
Okay.
he like does some like zigzags and he goes up a hill where they can't get up the hill like right away with the car.
Yeah.
He
So
zigzags.
you think Mike realizes that the gig is up here?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
He knows something's going on.
I did wonder as a kid if he realized it or not, but I think you're right. Like the way
I
that
think he did.
he's maneuvering.
Yes.
Then the scene that traumatizes children to this day.
Ugh. Oh, horrifying. Absolutely horrifying.
Horrifying.
It is.
Mike sees the ghost costume is hung on the fence, and then he finds E.T. nearby, passed out, gray in a creek.
Well, he's like partially gray. He's like pink and gray at this point. He's like speckly.
He went on a bender. He's
oh my god, he's
like
just
Homer.
like passed out in the river. He got really far away. He just like started walking. Like, why did he just start walking and like pass out in this river? Did
Maybe
he fall
he
down
thought
the
he was
hill?
gonna. I don't know.
Because he left
I do want to know
Elliott,
what.
and then he like fell
did
down
he
a
need
hill.
a drink? Like, did he not want to die in front of Elliott? Did he like? I don't know what happened here.
Maybe he did. Maybe he thought he needed water.
There's a raccoon just chilling by him.
Yes. There is a raccoon just hanging out with dying E.T., which is horrifying. It's like a slab of meat, just like, you know, like you get some ground beef. Like, it looks like ground beef sitting in the water, uncooked.
Yep, that's exactly right.
I don't like it.
Well, you know, Elliot, it's sad that E.T. died, but at least we can grill and make some E.T. burgers.
No!
It's plant-based. It's healthy.
There you go. It's a veggie burger.
A helicopter is overhead, so Mike wraps him in a blanket. The next scene that we see, Keys is approaching the house menacingly.
Yes.
And Mike gets Mary.
Yes.
And asks her to come here. The kids have decided they need her help.
Yes. It's time. Well, because they don't know what to do.
And Elliott's sick too, so they don't know, like, is Elliott gonna die because E.T.'s dying? Like,
right.
They don't know.
Oh my god, both of these scenes.
Yeah,
I don't know if
scary.
I have feelings from, like, when I was a kid, but, I feel it now. Like, it made, the skin
it's
is,
one
like...
of those... Yeah, it's an imprint scene for sure for a little kid to see this. Like, you're gonna remember this.
I'll tell you this. Okay, I don't know which one came first. I had a beta fish, and the beta fish, when it was like sick and dying, turned as white as E.T. and was just laying on the bottom of the tank, and it was like you could tell it was breathing. That was traumatizing for me as well as a child. I had an E.T. moment with my beta fish as a kid, and then here he is laying in the bathroom, white. It's horrifying.
Mike says, remember the goblin? You gotta promise you're not gonna, do anything rash. Like, you gotta promise me. And she's like, what is going on? They open the door, and her reaction is appropriate. This E.T. is even scarier, because now he's like ashen gray.
It's horrifying. Now he's just like white, like covered in flour looking. Like,
yeah.
Oh, it's so scary.
And at first, she thinks it's like paper mache, and she's like, "Oh, that's great! You guys made like a thing."
Yes, like a monster.
And
okay.
then
it goes.
He reaches out for her, and he calls her mom. And her reaction is appropriate. She does the usual suspects, and the coffee spills, and she drops the cup.
Yes, and then goes, "We all have to get out of here." Like, no, leave it. Get the hell out of the bathroom. Get your sister. We're leaving. But, like, Elliott says, like, we're dying. I think we're dying to her at the same time.
I don't know what her plan was other than we have to get away from this thing.
Well, because she doesn't know what it is. And she's like, why are you... What is it? I have to get my children to safety.
But they're all trying to be like, he won't hurt you, Mom. He called you Mom. He thinks of you as... He knows that you are Mom.
But still...
Yeah, that would be... I'd shit my pants and I would pass out. Like, that would have been my reaction. She, being the mom, like, that she is like, I gotta get my kids out of here.
Yes.
Mike grabs Gertie. She grabs Elliott. E.T. cries out. Horrifyingly.
It's like, I feel like the shivers from this part. And then this happens.
The most terrifying thing that you can find at your front door, a NASA astronaut.
Why are they wearing astronaut suits?
All right, it's a little cheap. It's a little cheap here because you can't see their faces.
I got it.
They're wearing astronaut suits because they don't know, is he radioactive? We don't know. Like, they have to wear their
astronaut suits. But why aren't they just wearing the quarantine suits then? Why in the world would they have NASA astronaut uniforms on.
It's obviously supposed to be so that it's the reveal that these things have been from NASA. These men have been from NASA the whole time.
All you need is a little thing. It has the little Earth thing on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we needed the astronaut costume to walk into the house, and they're like creeping through the windows on the other side. They're opening the windows. What? That part took me out for a little bit. That annoyed me.
It's like it becomes a zombie movie. They like are walking creepily through the house instead of going like
they're not even
Mrs.
speaking.
Taylor or
Right.
whatever.
Like, here's my badge. Like, what is this?
Yeah, the toy train like whistles and stuff, and it's supposed to like spook like a kid and things like that too. I agree with you. It takes you out because of the fact that like it's clearly trying to elicit that from you. The next scene is a whole row of feds with plastic everywhere. They're like
Which
walking
makes
down
more
the
sense to me.
street.
This makes a little bit. Well, yeah, the marching is a little silly, but the stuff with the
Unfurling
quarantining,
plastic. Yeah.
They do kind of look like peacekeepers or something marching down the street, so it's a little odd.
E.T. is straining to breathe when a guy breathing like Darth Vader
Yes!
in the NASA suit finds him.
Like,
I was
what
wondering
is
if we're supposed to think this is Keyes, but I don't think it is.
I don't think so. I think it's just
I
one
think
of
it's
the
just
people.
I think it's just an astronaut.
I don't even think it's an astronaut. You think astronauts are coming here and doing this? You don't think it's just like...
He's got the NASA astronaut outfit on.
It just seems so weird. I guess the astronauts are helping now too.
E.T. asks to go home.
Yeah.
He's saying home, home.
Right.
So now we've got cops, plastics, dudes,
Doctors,
a whole slew of
scientists,
shit
suits,
constructed in this house, all down the
peacekeepers.
street.
Yeah. They look like peacekeepers.
Stormtroopers.
Tell me they don't. They all have
Trampolines,
masks on.
mass hysteria.
They all have masks on, or it's all in silhouette, so you can't really see most of their faces.
Intentional, of course.
Of course.
And it's all just constructed down the street and in this house. It's just a giant scene. I was going to ask you, Rachel, to just describe what this looks like with all this crap like that they're building and just what they've
it looks
set
like a
up here.
fumigation tent. They have like the tube that you can walk down so that you can become like quarantined into this one place. That's kind of how I would say it. There's a lot of tubes and piping everywhere, a lot of lights going on because it's nighttime now. Yeah. They're using like detectors all over the yard and everywhere. So there's just a lot of stuff going on. More smoke and steam and mist.
Yeah. Smoke and fog and shit's all over the place.
That's right.
Keyes is shown. So, well, actually, first, they're apparently all worried that this whole family is going to die of cancer, like, at any second, because of the way that they have this all quarantined off. But they're asking them all questions, and asking things like, did he have any hair?
Right. Does he sleep?
Oh, I guess you do see Keyes first before they ask him like the hair thing. Like Keyes is putting his suit on. He's putting a hazmat suit on.
Right. And he kind of walks into the building, and then we see everybody getting questioned by all these doctors / scientists, and they're, did he look like before?
Has he lost hair?
Right.
Yeah.
Did he ever
Never
write
had
anything
any
or
hair.
build anything?
I honestly always thought, Rachel, when the question about did he lose any hair, they were talking about Elliott at first.
Yeah.
And Gertie misinterprets it thinking it's about E.T. saying
Sure.
he didn't have any hair.
Yeah.
But I think it is like, did he lose hair? Like,
Yeah.
did E.T. have hair? Yeah.
Right.
'Cause,
I mean, I think at this point they're just trying to figure out like what's going on with him.
Has he said anything? Did he build anything? And Mike's like, no.
Does he have any
like
special
he won't
powers?
give up that goods.
Right.
Yeah. See an X-Man? We've got these mutants up in Westchester. He tells them though that he communicates through Elliott. And they're like, Elliott thinks his thoughts. And he says, no, Elliott feels his feelings.
Right.
There's a ton of tests going on. They're connected like a bad horror sequel that came out recently. Side note for everyone out there, Rachel and I were listening to satellite radio. Rachel, that bad horror sequel?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, because there's a scene in that bad horror sequel where the girls' heartbeats are the same.
Right.
Because they're both possessed at the same time.
Right, yes.
So, a side note for all of you out there that are listening and are fans of Shelf Life, we don't know what we were listening to.
Oh, I have no idea.
But Rachel and I
Awful.
we were in the car, We were driving, and we had the radio on, and it was a person doing our shtick.
Yes, which is fair.
Of walking you through a movie, but it was a movie that came out like a week previous. And granted, everyone thinks it's a bad movie. We haven't seen it yet, but everybody else thinks it's a bad movie. The Exorcist sequel, but I thought it fit.
Oh no,
this is
perfect. Where, yes, because they were at the doctor's together and like the heartbeat and stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah. She was doing our shtick with no analysis.
None.
No bits.
None.
No jokes.
No side comments.
No thoughts. No feelings. No talking about what she thought of anything that was going on. She was just telling what happened.
Play-by-play of what was happening.
So
and we're just going...
Rachel and I were waiting for the shoe to drop where she tells you if it has shelf life or whatever.
Because she even says something to another person, and the other person goes, oh, okay, so that's what was happening. And then that's it. They never even spoke again.
And that was the end.
What was that?
It was the strangest thing. So I don't know what it was, and folks at home, please let me know if you know what I'm talking about. That was like on Sirius XM.
Oh my God.
It was so bizarre.
It was insane.
Anyway.
And then after that, it just like stopped. There was nothing after it.
There was nothing.
She didn't say there was nothing
else.
after she just described the entire movie from front to from the beginning to end. And then they go into the next bit, and we're like, okay.
Like, say what you will about our shtick. But we give you analysis. That's the point.
Right.
I wanted to make that reference because I was like, Rachel might not get the reference, but she'll get it if I tie it back to where she heard it.
Get it, yes.
So, Keyes, he first looks at E.T. being worked on, and you understand immediately it's played by Peter Coyote, and he plays it very sympathetic.
Oh, yeah.
This is a scientist, an astronaut, a NASA man that wants to understand E.T.
Yes. I feel like he wants to befriend. He just wants to
Yeah.
make contact. He's so excited to make contact with anything outside of Earth.
He's talking to Elliott. He doesn't talk to E.T.
Right,
In
he
fact,
goes over
E.T.
to
won't
Elliott.
say anything.
Right.
Yeah. And he talks to Elliott. He tells him that he's glad that Elliott found him first. And Elliott's saying, like, he came to me.
Right.
He's my alien.
Right.
Like, and
Which
you
is
guys
a
are going to
little
hurt him, and you guys are going to kill him. And
This
he's
was
like,
annoying me a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
Elliott saying this?
Well, this whole part where
Yeah.
Elliott
He's a kid.
freaks out. And I get that he's a kid, and I get that he doesn't quite comprehend it, but as an adult watching this, I'm like, kid, they want to help. That is what they're doing.
Yes. But again, from that kid's point of view, I think it's supposed to be like like you can't trust the adult. I think that's the whole point. The adults are scary.
I think that's the whole point. Right. I agree. The adults
Especially
are
when it's like
scary.
the divorce thing too, where it's like I can't trust anybody because I can't even trust that my parents, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So I think and I think that's why this whole conversation happens. It's supposed to be like, no, Peter Coyote
Is
as
a good guy.
Keyes is actually a good guy. Mm-hmm.
It was just one of those things where it's like watching it as an adult, I'm just sitting here going, kid, shut up for a second. Where's his mom? Why isn't she explaining this to him? Like, no, they're doctors. Like, they're trying to help you. They're trying to help him. We don't know what's going on.
And Elliott's like, I can take care of him. It's
No,
like,
you
Elliott,
can't. Look what happened.
You fucking can't. He is dying.
Right.
Keyes looks concerned.
Yes.
I like this talk because he's like, he came to me, and Keyes is like, he came to me too.
Yes.
Which made me think that they were sending a signal out. So Keyes thinks that they answered a signal.
Oh, that's
to, like,
possible.
come to Earth.
Maybe.
And Keyes is like, I've been waiting for this moment since I was 10 years old. Like, I wanted to be the one to greet the aliens.
Right.
But he's like, but I'm glad that you got to meet him first because you did as good as anybody could have hoped. And I think Keyes is not explicitly saying, but implicitly saying, like, and they probably would have done experiments on him if I got to see him first.
Maybe, I guess.
And Keyes is holding Elliott's hand, too. Like almost like a thank you. And Elliott
Well, I
holds
feel
it
like
back.
maybe part of that, too, is that Elliott as a child is a little less scary too than like the government. They would all be rushing in, and it would be this whole hullabaloo. And luckily, this alien who's by himself, you know, found somebody that's just like very gentle. He found someone very gentle.
Was there any symbolism in the way that Keyes greets Elliott with the two fingers on the plastic? Was that supposed to look like an ET? Because it was two fingers. I couldn't understand if that was supposed to be like symbolic. The way that
You think it's supposed to be like the way it's kind of like how E.T. always reached out with his hands, maybe, because his hands would always be
that's
groping.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is supposed to be a bit symbolic of kind
It's
of
a weird
like
thing to do,
feeling
because I don't know why you'd...
the connection between him and the aliens as well.
Yeah.
Like, he's also kind of a gentle man.
Mm-hmm.
Gentle creature, gentle
the gentle
child,
man.
gentle man type
That's
of thing.
what it is. That's what it is. Yep. He says that he's been to the forest.
Mm-hmm.
He says, what does the machine do? And Elliott explains it. And he says, I really shouldn't tell. and Elliott says, like, he needs to go home. He's dying. He's calling his people.
Right.
And Elliott doesn't know where they are. And this whole time, Elliott, like...
Yeah.
It's weird because, and in the documentary even, Spielberg is like, can you breathe in and say the words? Like, that's what he's going for. So he's supposed to be like... It's like, I don't know how the hell how Henry Thomas did this, because I can't do it right now. It's like hard to do and get the words out.
Still working. Like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And Spielberg, because all of these doctors and stuff are real medical people, because he wanted it to be authentic to what they would do. So he just told them to, like, act as though E.T.'s a real patient.
Yes.
So,
like, put the things on him and do the thing. And
yeah. So Spielberg is like, I know it's probably not medically accurate, but breathe in and do it. And, like, you can tell, like, the people are like, yeah, nobody would talk like that. And he's like, it sounds
but it's a bit
good.
more dramatic, so...
Right. The connection separates. So Elliott starts to go up and get better.
Yes.
And E.T. starts to fade.
Which I assume
and then E.T.
means that E.T. severed that connection.
I think so too.
So he wouldn't kill Elliott by accident.
E.T. says Elliott, and then they realize that they can talk, and then E.T. says stay, and Elliott's like, yeah, well, stay together, I'll be right here, which of course comes back at the end, and E.T. just keeps going, stay, Elliott, stay.
Yes, like, I want you to live, I think is really what it is.
Okay.
I think he's saying, like, live, you're gonna live, I'm gonna go.
All right.
I'm gonna die.
I like that interpretation. Elliott gets better, E.T. fades, and then they try to relax E.T. Mike goes in the closet that E.T. was sleeping in, and he curls up in anguish. And again, I feel for this big brother here. It's a nice little moment for Mike. They're going through the divorce, and now they have to deal with E.T.
Well, because now his brother and E.T. are dying. And he doesn't know what to do as, like, the big brother, as the person who has to, like, try to keep the family together now, because he's, like, the eldest, and...
Yeah.
He wants to protect and like help everybody, even the mom.
Spielberg was the eldest sibling, so I think that's yeah.
So he knows how to, like, play this one out, then. And it works.
When he wakes up, he notices the plant is dead, meaning that E.T. is dead, and he screams no, and they try to revive him,
right? Using like normal. People things, like, hopefully
I was
work.
like,
well, they don't know.
Why the hell did you think any of this would work?
They gotta try.
I guess
something.
it's the only thing they can do.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, he has, like, blood pressure, he has, like, this, we're kind of, like, doing tests at the same time to try to figure out, okay, well, what can we do to help him?
Elliott says, you're killing him as he Rachel does not like
that. Was driving me crazy.
That's what that was driving me nuts too.
Because it's like, he's already dead. He was dying. They're trying to bring him back. What do you mean?
Because for me, it was just the pitch of his voice was doing it.
Oh, yeah.
But
well, that too. And I think it's just, like, all of it together was like, oh my God, you're driving me crazy, kid. You're driving me crazy. Like, I don't know if you just don't understand what death is, but...
Rachel, now, we thought that they don't know what they're doing, but what if they've done this before?
Oh, where they've had another alien before and it was dying like this?
Yeah, what if they've had another alien before?
It's potential.
It's possible.
It's definitely possible. I think that's actually a good idea, and I think you're right. Maybe they kind of have, like, this set up because they've had to deal with it before.
They say to defib him, Drew looks so goddamn genuine watching E.T. die.
Part of me wonders if she is.
Well, they were like, now remember, Drew, E.T.'s acting.
Right.
He's not really dying. He's not really dying.
Oh my God.
And of course, the second that they go to defib him, Gertie jumps. And I think it's Drew Barrymore actually jumping because they really defibbed the puppet.
Right.
And I think that's when she started, like, crying.
Oh my God. It's horrible.
Okay.
Poor kid.
Mary, Mary.
Oh, yeah.
Get Gertie out of there. Like, what are you doing?
Well, I think because they had them in there because they were, like, questioning them. They were also, like, doing tests on her to make sure she was okay since she had, like, so much connection.
Yeah.
So they wanted to make sure she wasn't also connected to him, I think. But you're right. Mom should have probably grabbed them both and, like, turned them around.
Elliott embraces his mom.
Yes. Well, I think she also, like, walks up to him going, oh, my God, you're okay. You're not dying.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my
yeah.
God. You have, like,
Mike
color
comes
again.
in
You look well.
They should go do, like, a shot of outside the house where they're, like, removing stuff from the house because they're like, yeah, this is over.
Mm-hmm.
The friends are there on their bikes,
Going,
and they're like, some shit's going down.
Right.
Like, what is going on? Yeah. And they're like, are they all dead in there? Like, what is this?
It's fair.
And eventually
That's a
they
fair
call
assumption, just to sit there and go, something's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course, it's all quarantine. There's cops, there's scientists. We don't know what the hell's going on. There's a big plastic tube going a mile down the street.
Right.
They eventually call it and say that E.T.'s dead.
Yes.
So E.T. has died. This is the part of the gospel where you take a knee. That's a moment of silence here.
So sad as a kid.
There is the thought that this is like a Christian parable, which I don't actually think it is. Just because somebody comes back from the dead does not make it a Christian parable.
No. I think he was probably not even technically, like, fully dead at this point. It was probably just so weak that they can't pick it up with our machines.
They couldn't pick up a pulse.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's probably just almost dead. Like, he's, like, on the brink of death.
Yeah. To humans, he's dead.
Yes. They've
Elliott
called humans dead before, and they've woken up in the morgue, so...
It happens all the time. It happens every day.
That's the scary part. So, you know what? They just didn't realize. It's okay.
They plan to pack him in ice, and I guess autopsy him. Cause, like,
my assumption is, now they're going to take him back, and at least...
I mean, Elliott even says they're just going to cut him off.
Right. Well, I mean, what else are they going to do?
Keyes takes off the hazmat suit. Like, dude, he still could be radioactive.
He had his hazmat suit off before everybody else did. The doctors all took their masks off when he went into, like, cardiac arrest. None of this was protocol. None of this was my protocol.
Nope. Rachel's giving them an F for cleanliness and protocol. But it's supposed to be now that we're in this third act.
Yes.
You can see the adults.
Right.
The adults' faces are all shown now.
Yes, and they actually all are sad.
Because I think the whole point is that this group that, like, Keyes is in charge of all just wanted to meet.
They just wanted
an
contact.
alien.
This was exciting for them.
Now the government, on the other hand,
yeah, they're
who
different.
knows? But
they're going to be blowing them out of the air the second they see him come back into the atmosphere.
Mike is sad. Gertie wants to wish for him to come back.
I know, because she goes, "Is he dead, Mama?" It's so sad. I just want to give Gertie a hug. Yeah, and she wants to wish for him.
We can wish. So they both wish and then they leave. I like that at this part and in these scenes in general, there's no score. So it makes it feel like
almost empty.
Wonderment is dead.
Yes.
Yeah, empty. Keyes tries to explain that they need to take him, but gets everyone to leave so that Elliott can kind of say goodbye.
Right. He does close his eyes too.
He does close his eyes too, which was very nice. It's supposed to show, like, how compassionate and
right.
He felt E.T. was, a living being.
Well, of course. Right.
Well, because this whole time, like, even as a kid, I'm like, okay, it's the government. But you're thinking, like, they're going to be evil.
Yeah,
and
they're going to be evil. They're going to try to just, like, kill him and dissect him. That's all they want to do. But the way that they have, like, such an emotion, it changes everything.
This is a touching little scene. Elliott says he must be dead because he can't feel anything.
Right. He doesn't know what to feel anymore.
And he tells E.T. that you've gone someplace else now. He'll believe in him every day his whole life. And he tells him he loves him.
It's so sad.
So it's very sad.
So sad. And traumatizing as a child. I was probably traumatized by this whole second act or third act or whatever.
It's a fine little way to realize death.
Oh, yeah, sure.
As a kid, I was going to accuse the movie of having magical tears, which we talked about in X-Men.
Yes.
I think this volume too, of having magical tears. It doesn't.
No.
It's not magical tears.
It's just a magical family and spaceship coming back into the atmosphere.
Yes. That's about right. Yep. Because as he shuts the cryogenic chamber,
Yes.
the chest starts to glow red again. Elliott doesn't see that, but as he walks out, he looks over at the plant, and the plant starts to bloom a little bit more. And he realizes, like, wait, you don't think. And he, like, goes back and he lifts the thing back up, and E.T.'s
He's just
alive.
like awake, like, oh my god.
Yeah, and he's like, E.T. phone home, E.T. phone home.
I feel them,
And Elliott,
them. I'm alive. Like I'm coming back.
Elliott goes nuts and goes, does this mean they're coming? And E.T. goes, yep. E.T. then won't shut the fuck up.
No, because he's so
she's like,
excited because his family's coming.
Shut the fuck up! He zips him up, which is funny, because he's going, E.T. phone home,
Right.
E.T. phone home.
Yes.
And then he has to pretend cry and
yes.
get dragged off crying.
So he doesn't want to tell the government people that he's alive. He
Right,
wants to
'cause they
just
won't
get
let
him
him
home.
go. He doesn't trust that they would let him go home.
Right.
I think maybe he could have convinced Keyes.
I think so. I think Keyes would have been like, can we just chat a little bit since you know English now? And then you can go home?
But he doesn't trust the adults, so
Absolutely
he's like, we
not.
gotta...
He comes
gotta
up
come
with
up with
this
something.
quick. He closes it and starts bawling on top of the tank.
Yeah, and Keyes kind of drags him off. He immediately stops when he sees the flower, and Keyes goes, would you like a flower? And
Yeah,
so he
would
starts...
you like a flower?
Yeah. Spielberg laughed at that one, and it was like, perfect. Like, do that again. Because, again, he's letting the kids kind of figure out...
Because now you're playing the game of, I have to fake it, so he's there. It was good. That was funny.
Well, even Melissa Matheson was like, she would go over the script with the kids.
Yeah.
And the kids would give her shit because they'd be like, no kid's gonna say this, or like they would like change stuff in it and stuff like that. So like they let them have input, which is, I've watched some of these behind the scenes things, and you watch Spielberg do this shit, and granted it's probably in a favorable light,
Of course.
but you just watch him command it like a fucking director.
Yeah.
He has like a presence. Lucas did it, and we watched people like fear him.
Yes.
And I've watched like the singer stuff and watched people like look annoyed at him.
Right.
This was more like on the Nolan side, but Nolan was so professional with it. And Spielberg looks like, we're trying to have fun here, people.
Yes,
like, let's figure this shit out.
I could see him being a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more fun than Nolan, who is like a bit more
at least for like
formal. I don't know why, but that's kind of how I like
everything
how
is
they
precise.
hold themselves.
Like it's precise to do it. Like we have beats to hit.
Yes.
Yeah. They must have told Gertie to give...
Oh, you forgot about the part with Mike, and like he tells Mike, and Mike...
Oh yeah, he tells Mike.
Bangs his head.
Mike bumps his head. Yeah.
Yes, and then we get to Gertie.
It must be later on. Gertie's got the
plant.
She's got the
flower.
Plant. And she's like, Mommy, did the boys leave yet? And the mom's talking to Keyes, and she's like, not now, Gertie. Like, shut the hell up.
I think she's flirting.
And
she's
I thought so
totally
too.
flirting with Keyes here.
Yeah, yeah. Keyes is saying something about 2 weeks from now or so. I think it's probably like, I want to come by 2 weeks from now to see how like Elliott's doing or something like that. But she lets it out like, they told me to give you this letter after they left, and she's like, just give me it now. I don't know how they did this.
Okay.
So Mike is, because like you think they'd still be in quarantine, but the NASA people are just letting Elliott kind of walk into the van with the cryo.
Well, they do kind of like look at him like for a second, but they're also working, so they're like, whatever.
Yeah, and maybe they're like, oh, like
he's just saying goodbye.
He probably
again,
just wants to
whatever.
be by it. Yeah. Somehow Mike got a suit.
Well, they're probably like hanging up somewhere. They're all taking them off too.
And got into the driver's seat. And before he can put the mask on,
yes,
some Fed sees him.
Yes, some suit comes over.
He's got
and goes, what are you doing?
Yeah, he's got a walkie-talkie, not a gun.
Right.
And Elliott says, well, okay, if this guy likes you, just go. He's like,
but I've never
driven forward.
Great.
And if any of you out there have seen Stranger Things but haven't seen E.T., this is where Stranger Things gets everything from. It's just the last 20 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
He stops and he tells the friends, get the bikes, meet at the top of the hill.
And they're like, okay. And they all put masks
so now they're
on.
playing... Well, because now they're playing D&D.
Oh, absolutely. This is a game
now. They're getting into their characters.
Yes,
like it's an adventure now.
That's right.
Mike says we're all gonna die, and they're never gonna let me get my license. There's two unfortunate guys that are being dragged along with them.
Yeah, because the tube is still, like, attached to the van.
Yeah. Elliott starts to unsnap the connection there.
He's getting him killed. He's gonna get him murdered at this point.
They're, like, driving around on these, like, hilly roads, and like, there's, like, people walking their dogs and shit, and I'm like, wouldn't this be, like, the talk of the town? Wouldn't, like, everybody...
100%.
Be like, what's going on at the old Elliott or E.T.'s mom's
they were walking
place?
up the hill. They're probably headed over there right now.
Maybe they're headed over there. Yeah. Guri and the mom are leaving in a car, and I want if I'm Keys, I'm like, you can't leave. Like, you're in quarantine. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
But Keys must let them get out.
Well, he
goes
does
with
stop
them.
her. He does stop her, and Gertie's the one who said,
Well,
"We have to go to the spaceship. We're going to the spaceship.
We're going to the spaceship." And Keys is like, going to the spaceship. So, like, he realizes that
Wait a
E.T.
minute.
wasn't dead.
Right.
So I think that they must take Keys with him.
I think they do.
Them.
I think they do.
And Harvey, I guess, too?
Yeah, I wouldn't leave him with these people. He'd get out.
Yeah,
They'd
all right,
do something
that's fair.
stupid. I wouldn't. Harvey would be coming with me.
The score at this point is amazing.
Yes, it's good. It's very good.
This whole rest of the score for this, the whole rest of this movie could be done by itself, and it would communicate every beat and every feeling and emotion that you want to get out of this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a blockade of police cars is approaching as they get to the park.
And he just drives onto the park.
Drives into
where
this
there's
park.
just children playing. He could have murdered just a bunch of children at play right now.
He's fine. He figured it out.
Yeah.
He kind of figured it out.
His friends are there. And then E.T.
friends are there.
says, "I bring you love."
All right, because I was gonna say he like an angel or like Jesus Christ, but you're right.
does.
It's Mr. Burns. I bring you love.
He's glowing. He's got the white cloth on, and he's just going, "I bring you love."
Ponyboy is stunned.
Oh, absolutely.
And he takes out a switch and he stabs E.T. and that's the end of the movie. I know. You know what? It was Ponyboy, and then what's his name? Johnny.
Yes.
Like an idiot because he gets scared. He's like, I don't know, Ponyboy, if we can do this.
That's right.
Elliott says he's a man from outer space, and we're taking him back to his spaceship. Like, he can't just beam up to the spaceship, and they're like, this is reality, Greg.
Right, I love that. That's not how this works.
No, we can't do that. This is not like horse. So all of the federales now have their guns out.
Yes.
And they're ready to
Blast some
murder
kids.
these children
That's right.
and E.T. In the first DVD edition, Steven Spielberg removed all of the guns and changed them to walkie-talkies.
Honestly, that would have been fine.
No. The guns are better. It should have been guns. He realized his mistake
Because they
when the Blu-ray...
they want them more threatening.
Yeah, when the Blu-ray came out, he changed it back to guns because he's like, you're right, I shouldn't have changed the art. He was trying to make it more kiddish so that that the kids wouldn't be afraid of that.
Sure, I guess.
No, this is better.
Because even the mom goes, like, they're just kids when they get to the van and there's nobody there.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's nobody at there, so now they're... So they're getting chased by the cops and stuff. E.T. is in the front pouch with Elliott. The rest are following or distracting
You mean
the
with
cops.
the stuntmen, right? Because they're obvious men riding these bikes at points.
Yeah, these are men riding the bikes. That's for
it's
sure.
fantastic. Because he's so much taller than Elliott when you look at this.
Yes! There's a shot where they, like, turn the corner after the hill where it's like, these are clearly like, 40-year-old men. Riding these one-speed 1982 bikes on the hill.
Yes!
Like, Rachel, I bike a lot.
I'm like, I would have wiped out. I would be bloody.
My ass would have been like, huh. Give me a second.
Oh my god.
But these kids are flying.
They're
Or these
doing
stuntmen are flying.
jumps. They're like, what is
They're doing leaps.
Yes!
They're doing X Games
X
shit
Games
all
stuff
over.
on like these mounds of dirt. Like I would be dead. Would have probably like crash landed somewhere.
Would this scheme have worked better if they pulled a Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows and they all had an ET,
Ooh.
so that they couldn't tell where the ET was. Because
that would've been
otherwise, the guys are
interesting.
just kind of there
just
to like
backup.
throw some of the cops off.
Right.
Yeah. They only are after ET and Elliott.
Right. I think it probably would have worked better if they all had something, but they all didn't have a giant basket. So, like, how are they going to carry them? Like, in a backpack or something? Like,
Backpack or something.
Yeah.
Just like something in a backpack to make it look like there's an ET.
sitting on the back and
Yeah.
holding on. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that might have worked better.
Just get
for
a bunch
them.
of a bunch of towels or something and like wrap it up so that it looks like that.
Right.
This chase goes on for a couple minutes. Some of the cops think they have them cut off at the bottom of the hill, but the kids go right over the car.
And they think
They
they've
split up.
gotten away. They're like, haha.
Yeah, they think they got away.
So they took off their
and then
masks. They take, like, so now we know they're kids
immediately-
again.
Ponyboy's like, we did it! And then...
A guy, like,
And then
tries to grab
immediately-
him.
yeah, and he's like, oh, shit!
And now they're surrounded, and the cops cut them off again.
The cops cut them off. They've got a blockade. They've got rifles this time,
Rifles.
as it should be.
Massive rifles now.
They're not aiming at the kids,
No, but I think
they've
they're just
definitely got
threatening.
rifles.
Yeah.
Yes. And then E.T.'s like, all right, just do this myself, and makes them all fly.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
As they're taking off, one of the cops is just kind of lackadaisically putting his hand like, get down,
Yeah.
get down, get
Yeah.
down. I'm like, what are you doing? Was he talking to the other cops? Was he talking to the kids?
I think the cop to like lower your weapon, maybe.
Oh, like, yeah, like they're not the threat, just like, but they were just gonna let him through. Like, you're not
I
gonna
don't
like
know.
truly block off this path.
Yeah, because I know what you're talking about. I know the motion that the
Yeah.
guy makes, and folks at home might have to
Maybe they're
chime
just
in
like
on this one, 'cause
completely
I don't know.
bewildered by the fact that these kids are now floating in the air.
Started flying.
So he's
yeah.
just like, get down? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's like a because it's like a slow.
Yes.
He does it like slow in slow
Yes.
motion almost.
Right.
Yeah, they fly over a green screen. They're all pedaling.
Yes.
Why are you bothering?
Because that's E.T.'s like, you gotta keep pedaling. I don't have enough power yet to keep us moving. So
okay, so you think that E.T. explains to them?
Absolutely.
Continue to pedal,
Telepathically.
pedal, children.
yes, I need you to pedal. You're the power, but I'm gonna keep us in the air. You gotta keep
Okay.
driving.
Okay, because I was like, why are
I
you
wouldn't
pedaling?
be
You're like
pedaling.
wasting your own energy.
What are you pedaling
I wouldn't be
for?
pedaling. I'd
very
have my
silly.
feet up like, God damn it! What is this?
I'd be hanging
what
on for
silly
dear
thing
life.
am I in?
Because now you're like,
Elliot, you're
oh, I feel like I'd have to like hold on to the bike because it's like, what if I let go and it falls? Like, what if I'm
Well, the
just
one guy
flying
is.
like I'm Superman? Like,
the one with the head or with the earphones.
Yes.
That's clearly the kid that always wears the trucker cap with the missing like teeth.
yeah,
In Stranger Things,
Right, yes.
like that's his equivalent.
You're right, yeah.
He's the one that's like, oh my god,
I'm gonna
yeah.
die.
They fly past a setting sun.
A lot of setting suns.
And-
Everything is always happening at the end of the day. Every time.
Well, because the movie's ending.
These
so
guys
the
have
sun
been
is
at their
setting.
house for an entire day and a half.
Yes, they have.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a smooth landing this time, which is because ET has
More power.
He's had full power.
Right.
And here comes the spaceship, and ET's happy to see it. He's rubbing his chest.
Right.
And stuff.
He's probably, I wonder if he's communicating. Like, I feel you. I'm here.
Oh, maybe.
I feel you. I feel
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, that could be. It lands in front of the kids. Somehow Gertie spots them, and I think she spotted
Oh,
the
she
spaceship.
must have seen the spaceship. It's
Yeah.
the only thing she could have seen. Because how the hell did she just have these eagle eyes? I see them. Like, I see the
Yeah,
ship.
Mommy,
maybe.
they're over there.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So, the story about the score for this scene. And they show this in the documentary.
Okay.
They show Spielberg showing the film reel to John Williams at a piano, and John Williams is like, okay, well, I've got some ideas for the theme, and he plays it for him on the piano, and that was really cool to see, because he's like, we can do this with it, and it's like, the variations that you hear, and then he goes, and then we can do this with it, and then he plays the theme, and then he's like, and then we can always go back, we can go forward, we can go back with it,
Right.
and then they clearly is showing him like the scene where they fly, because then he goes, okay, well, right here I can go doo-dee doodle-doodle-doo or whatever, and so that was really fun. And for people that don't know, when films are scored, so if it's a orchestral score, the movie will be playing for the conductor, and the band is playing in front of him, or the musicians or whoever,
Right.
and he like is trying to do it in time with the movie.
Yes, and making sure everything's on pace. It's like,
On-
okay,
yes,
good. We're
exactly.
at the point where we're supposed to be. Good.
Yeah.
Swell it. Let's keep going. Come on,
Yeah.
guys. Like,
and maybe he'll like, yeah, so then he'll be like, okay, I want to cut this because it's not at the right point and all that stuff. So they couldn't get it exact the way that John Williams had written out the score.
okay.
And he's sitting in the studio with Spielberg and all of the musicians and stuff. And Williams is like, I'm sorry, Steven, I can't get it right. I don't think that this is working. And Spielberg tells him, I'm going to turn the movie off. Conduct it like it's a symphony. Play it like it's a concert. I'm going to edit this scene.
I will put as many cuts
to
to
your
as many faces,
music.
to as many aliens as I need to do it to get it to work. Ooh, I love that.
So that's how this scene was done and edited.
That's
it's
crazy.
to the music. Red Letter Media
love
pointed
that.
out, there's a video, I think, on YouTube where they took the score out
Okay.
to prove how this score... I wrote down in my notes, this score is probably one of man's greatest achievements. Because this scene, because you take the score out and it's just this weirdo alien waddling up a ramp. But with the score in it, you cry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I cried. I cried during this scene. I'll probably cry describing it. Gertie first makes me cry.
Gertie. She jumps out of that car. She runs straight to E.T. She knows he's leaving. And she goes, I just wanted to say goodbye.
I just wanted to say goodbye.
That gives him the flowers. Like, you can take this home. Like, take this with you.
Yeah, it's a chrysanthemum. And Michael says he
Does
doesn't
that
know
mean
goodbye.
something? Did you look up chrysanthemums or something? Is that what you said?
It is a chrysanthemum. I think that's what it is. Prove me wrong, kids.
No, I think it is a chrysanthemum. So, okay. Wait. We have some symbolism with a chrysanthemum.
Okay.
A chrysanthemum symbolizes friendship, happiness, and well-being.
Interesting.
Be good. Be good. But I feel like that's actually very symbolic
good.
then. They built a friendship. It came to life, right?
Yeah.
The friendship
Yeah.
almost died, but it came back, and she's offering her friendship to him and that happiness.
Yep.
It's great. It's beautiful.
There you go. There you go.
perfect.
That's screenwriting. That's how you make a movie. E.T. tells her be good. That was so touching. She kisses him, and I've got tears swelling in my eyes.
Oh,
Drew Barrymore did a fantastic job.
Oh my God.
of portraying this little girl.
yes.
He thanks Mike, and Mike says you're
does.
welcome. And Mike touches his the side of his head,
Kind of
and,
like a pet almost. He like pets him.
Yeah. An elderly E.T. comes by the door to be like, we gotta go! We drove here. It took
We've
us
been
3 days.
Worried, sick. We didn't know if you were dead. We knew nothing.
Your father was so pissed off when you sent that message back that you were still alive. We packed up right away. You're never going to hear the end of this, I tell you right now, you little son of a bitch. We're never letting you wander off in the woods.
Mm-hmm. This is what I
I'm gonna
imagine.
put a goddamn leash on you, you little
Your mother was
bastard.
so worried. Look what you did to her.
Your grandmother was at the funeral. She nearly had a heart attack because of you. You're grounded. You're grounded. I don't care what you bring back
Get
here.
in that
Chrysanthemum, I don't
terrarium
give a
right
shit.
now.
Get in there right now. You're not going up with us to the next. You're not going with the next one. I told Botanicus, and that son of a bitch is not letting you go out on any more missions. Ladies and gentlemen, E.T.'s mom. E.T.'s mom. Okay, so Elliott comes up next, and E.T., I think, asks Elliott to come. He says come. I think he's asking Elliott to come with.
I think he is. Like, he's asking, like, do you want to come with me? Yeah.
You could come with, because we can keep you alive. And Elliott says, no, stay.
And he goes,
Like,
well, I
he
can't
realizes-
stay. I know
Yeah.
I understand you have to stay, but I have to go.
And E.T. sighs this is goodbye then.
Yeah.
And E.T. says, ouch. Like, he like, points to, like, his heart.
Yeah.
And says, ouch. Because he's like that makes me sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hurts. Elliott does it too. And so they understand. It's very sad. They hug. It is genuinely touching.
It is.
To see this child and this puppet hug.
Yes.
It's so weird that they pull it off like that.
Well, because it's odd because they're so good at manipulating the puppet to make it feel alive.
Yes.
Like there's a person
I could definitely
in there.
see...
Freaks me out.
This is saccharine, this is manipulative, this is whatever. But as fans of professional wrestling, Rachel, we want to be manipulated. People want to be manipulated to feel things.
You do.
If they get you to feel it, even if you know it is fake or that you're being manipulated, you're still feeling it.
You're feeling connected to it then. Yeah.
And genuine versus saccharine is a thing. So saccharine feeling of like, you see the sad dog or whatever, and it makes you feel bad is different than being genuinely like connected to the characters.
Right.
So I can see someone saying like it's a little too saccharine, but everything together works. I think it does. E.T. lights up his finger and he says, "I'll be right here,"
and he
points to Elliott's head. I misremembered it pointing to his heart.
Well...
Like, I'll always be with you in your heart.
Yes, because
but it's his
what
head.
would be better? Which one do you think is better? Do you think it's good that he pointed to the head, or do you think it would have been better if he would have pointed to his heart?
There's two interpretations about him pointing to his head, I think. One could be that he's saying, I'm in your memories. I actually think that it's, I'm going to stay connected to you, so you can always feel me.
Oh, interesting.
And I can always feel you.
See, I think
especially with the finger, because like with the finger, it almost
was like he just did something.
I'm doing that, yeah.
Ooh, that's interesting. Like he just screwed with his head. He just screwed with Elliott's head just then.
Well, just to say, like, we'll always be connected.
Sure. I just feel like the heart, because it's like the way that they
like,
all
I'll
touch their
with
hearts.
Your feelings. Yeah.
So, like, for me, I kind of wish it was more the heart. That. Yeah, I did too.
I always thought it was the heart, but yeah, it was his head.
But it's the head.
I'm okay with it because of my interpretation of it, which is like we're always going to be connected.
It makes sense.
You'll always be able to feel me in your head,
and you'll be.
But yeah, the heart would have probably been like you'll always be able to feel me in your heart. Would have
because it's not like again that interpretation of they don't hear each other's thoughts; they feel each other.
Right.
That's kind of where I'm at. But you're right. I think the head makes a lot of sense for him to say.
And if you don't want to go with that, and it's just like I'll always be in your memories, like I'm always going to be in, like you'll always remember me.
Right.
Elliott says goodbye. He picks up the pot, and he walks into the spaceship. Harvey says goodbye, so he climbs up the ramp.
He like runs up to him. Wait! I want to say goodbye too.
Yeah, because now E.T. won Harvey over. That's what that's supposed to be portrayed. It's so triumphant.
Harvey's actually like, take me with you.
Yeah, for a second I was like, is he telling him he wants to go? It's so triumphant for this 2'11" weirdo, like alien
being,
naked, hairless thing is waddling up a ramp. It's so triumphant, and you feel it because of like the way that it's shot and everything. The ramp shuts. He stands at the door. The music swells as we see E.T. leave, and Elliott watches on the door as it shuts.
As the door shuts, like the 007 opening.
It is kind of like the gun barrel. It just spans back. And one of the British agents from MI6 is like, I've got a shot at him. I want to take out the alien. And it just gets sniped right as the door shuts. They shoot E.T. I've got him.
Horrendous.
Q, mission complete. I'll be back at the base. Good job, Keys. You really you made him go out in the open, and now we finally got the little bastard. We've been trying to. They all walk up and they're like, "Good job, Elliott. We've been trying to kill that alien for 8 years."
He's actually
he's
wanted
an internet,
all over
he's an
the
intergalactic
world.
terrorist.
They've been murdering people left and right.
Based on our intel, he was 1 day away from killing you. If the whole plan didn't go tits up, he was gonna kill you tomorrow.
That's right.
What actually happens is the door shuts, the ship takes off, it leaves a rainbow.
It leaves the rainbow, taste the rainbow, everybody.
They all look on as the ship leaves, and the timpani kicks in and takes us out on Elliott looking on, and that is the end of E.T.
This is also still where I was like, the mom is probably like, God, I wish I would have been able to have like a bit more adventure with my kids, except for the dying part. They got to have this adventure with an alien. I would have liked that. That's not fair.
Yeah,
just because
I feel like
old.
the mom's gonna tell them, like, you know, you can tell me, like, you can tell me when. So that is the end of E.T. Rachel, I wrote in all caps, so I'll yell it to give you the effect of this. I wrote, "That is how you end a fucking movie!" is how I said it. Rachel, we have come to that point of the show where I ask you, because as classic as this is, that is not the question. The question that we always ask here on Shelf Life is, does what we were talking about have shelf life? Rachel, does E.T. have shelf life?
You know, it's funny. It's funny. Because a memory of this, I was just kind of like, oh, it's going to be just like this silly thing. And I remember the scary parts and all of that. And then rewatching it, there was a couple spots where I was like, okay, it's a bit of a slow burn, but I like the music and it's an interesting thing. Talking to you about it, oh my God, why is it so much more fun to talk about these things? It makes it like 10 times like better.
Well, because we're having fun with it and stuff.
Right. So now I'm conflicted.
Well, I guess the question is, would you rewatch it? Do you think that it has shelf life? Are you going to go back to it? Are you going to revisit it? Are you going to like what's your initial thoughts if you take out our conversation? Because this is it. We're done talking about ET. We're done.
Right, we're done. That's it. So I wasn't going to put it on the shelf. I was kind of like, yeah, I would say watch it. But I guess technically I would say I'd rewatch it many years into the future. You know?
Okay.
I probably wouldn't go, yeah, I'm going to watch this every year. I would say, like, yeah, as a kid, I would say kids should watch it. And I think that's just because you kind of can learn some stuff from it. And you can really connect to the other kids in this story. You know what? This is actually a really good one for, like, people to connect to the characters and feel something.
It's a kid's movie, but it's well done, so it's...
Right.
It doesn't feel like that.
I don't know what to say.
Okay, well, I mean, I can tell you my thoughts. I don't want to sway you, though.
No, go ahead. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay.
I don't want to sway you on this.
I've just become conflicted. This is what you've done to me.
There's nostalgia there because I did watch it all the time as a kid, like we outlined, but I don't remember watching it all the time as a kid, other than the scenes that imprinted on me.
Right.
So there's nostalgia, but not really nostalgia, because I was too little to like pick up on nostalgia. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that could be a factor. It's such a well done movie. I'm with you on the idea that I would not go back and watch it
often.
No. In fact, I haven't watched it probably in like 30 damn years.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh my God, it has to have been at least like 20 years. It has to have been at least 20 years since I've seen it.
Would I rewatch this? And now I bought it, of course, but I got it like on the cheap. But I thought about this, and I thought I probably won't revisit it soon.
Right.
But I could see as I get older, appreciating it more, and maybe watching it more as I get older.
I could see watching it again.
It's like weird because of that. Like, I don't think I will watch it again in like my 30s, but I could see like in my 40s watching it again, and then in my 50s watching it more, and I don't know why.
Part of me thinks you're gonna want to show it to somebody, and you're gonna watch it with somebody. So like even if you watch it like with your godson.
Yeah.
I could see you kind of like going, I'm gonna watch it with my cousin and like the kids because it's like a good movie. I enjoyed it as a kid. He might enjoy it as a kid type of thing. I could see you kind of like doing something like that. I could see myself doing something like that and being like, oh, you know what we should watch? We should watch this. You've never seen it? Oh, we should watch this together. So that could be the way I would watch it again, is like watching it with somebody or like showing it to somebody, I think. Or if it's on, I'd be like, you know what? I'm in the mood. I'll watch it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like for me, yes, it has shelf life. It's a goddamn masterpiece. Are you kidding me? It has fucking shelf life.
The music
I'm
is
just saying, like,
fantastic.
It's one of those things where I didn't want the movie to just happen to hit me in the right spot. And the question is that okay? Does that mean that the movie has shelf life for specific occasions or meanings?
I think that actually can be a part of it. Yes.
I think that still lets it have shelf life. Yeah,
actually. I'm
not always going to be in the mood to watch a slasher movie, but when I'm in the mood to watch a slasher movie, if it has shelf life. You know, I don't know. But I think it does. I think it has shelf life. It just so happened to be at a time where I could evaluate it.
You had a bigger connection.
Feel like I had a connection to it as well. I'm just saying, for me, I'm probably not going to go back and watch it right away. It's not an every year thing or anything like that. It's definitely worthy of being added to the collection for sure. And so yes, for me, it's shelf life.
I think that's where I'm kind of heading, is that it kind of belongs in the collection. And so I'm like, I think it does need to be on the shelf for that reason. I feel like there's a lot of things you can learn from this, you can feel with this, you can connect with this, and the music is great, and all like the behind the scenes stuff that you were talking about, I'm appreciating it a lot more, and now I'm thinking it does need to have shelf life. And you're not manipulating me.
I mean, you don't...
That's why I was conflicted, is because I'm like, well, it's fine. It's a fine movie. You know, I can enjoy it.
Yeah, it's not my favorite or anything like that.
No. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I feel like there is a lot of nostalgia, and I do think you and I definitely connect this with the ride a lot, and there's just something about having that piece that, like, you always go back to, and it's just kind of something silly, but you're like, but you have to ride it because it's so silly. And there's like these animatronics, and it smells like that, and it reminds you of the movie. And
the animatronics barely work anymore,
right? And it's funny, you know. We put our names in. My husband put in a random ass name, and we didn't even get any of our names on that ride.
Yeah,
it was the funniest thing
because it was all off. And
yes,
Roberta, Samuel, Muhammad.
It was so random.
Again, see the after the credits for that.
But it's like, I can kind of see how this could really connect with pop culture. I could see how this could connect with people and how they should watch it. And that's why I'm saying it needs to be on the shelf. Because it should be watched, and it should be, like, paid attention to.
Okay. So
I was conflicted.
I want to make sure that you're...
I was going to put it in the box, but you know what? I'm not going to default to the box all the damn time. I'm putting it on the shelf.
Okay.
I'm not copping out into the box. It's going on the shelf.
Okay. I'm glad that we talked it out. I'm glad that you, like, kind of figured out, you know, one way or another. Because it's very good. It's a very good movie. It is. For sure.
Yeah. Those parts, though, with the scary looking puppet in the water
as an adult.
No, it still gave me the creeps. Like, that's the thing. Like, I felt what I felt as a kid. Like, I was like, ooh. I see why it made me very uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, you can see
and
this
it still made me uncomfortable.
Kind of frightening. Yeah, for sure. But no, overall, it's just a good movie. The kids are good in it. The puppetry is good in it. The score is great.
The kids are good in it. Yeah.
Kids are very good in it.
I love Drew Barrymore.
What was the Super 8 J.J. Abrams tried to do? It was like a precursor to what Stranger Things ended up being. And it was a movie.
Okay.
We'll put it on the list.
Right.
We can try it. With Stranger Things, of course, that kind of stuff. It all kind of is derived from E.T. I will say this, Rachel, it's good enough for the Library of Congress to have on their shelf. So
whoa.
If it's... Well, because they put, like, films that are, like, either important or, like, whatever.
That's why I'm kind of thinking important is where my brain went with this one. Kind of important. I don't know why.
Which is fine.
I would assume people who don't like it aren't really into sci-fi.
Or they think it's saccharine.
What is this?
Like, I can see that. Fake emotion. Like, it's eliciting emotion that's not genuine because it's manipulating you.
You're just manipulating my emotions into feeling a way you want me to feel.
We've done it, Rachel. We have eaten some Reese's Pieces. We've drinking some Coors. We've died and came back.
We've been good.
And that was E.T., directed by Steven Spielberg from 1982. Cross it off the list. It has shelf life. I have been Kevin.
And I'm Rachel.
And this has been Shelf Life, reminding you to always be good. I don't know. We'll see you next time. To the green planet.
E.T.
Oh no.